It's tough to believe Eli Manning has been the quarterback for the Giants for 10 consecutive years. He's made 135 regular season starts trying to get his team back into the postseason. And Giants head coach Tom Coughlin knows there's a lot of work to go, but he says, hey, let's get it started.
Let's go! 1, 2, 3, now!
It's been a long time coming since I've seen your face.
It's amazing when you get the opportunity to walk these halls.
Frank Gifford and Harry Carson, Andy Robustelli, I'm in their place now.
The tradition is thick here, and you have to live up to that expectation.
Touchdown Giants!
Huff gets the sack.
They call him Turbo.
Intercepted by Roll. Eli Manning sets a new Giants franchise record.
I love the Giants tradition because it's all about football.
I feel again.
NBC4 New York presents New York Giants preseason football.
And the 2013 New York Football Giants take the field, some battling for starting jobs, others to try to make the team. It's New York Giant preseason football here on NBC4 New York. Live from Heinz Field, two storied franchises, the New York Football Giants taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hello again, everyone. So glad you could join us. I'm Bob Papa with former two-time Super Bowl champion Carl Banks. And Carl, another season comes, and this first preseason game, like opening up the umbrella and seeing what materializes. What are the objectives for the coaching staff in preseason game one?
Well, I think the number one objective is to evaluate, get these guys on tape against an opponent going full speed. This is the first real opportunity they'll have to evaluate.
All right, what is the sort of buzzword for the Giants here in 2013?
Well, it's been physicality. They haven't played well in either phase of the run game or stopping it, and this is the time that they want to establish that again.
Pittsburgh brings a very physical running attack, so this is going to be a great first look for this Giant defense.
Well, I'll tell you, the focus will be on the defensive tackle position. There are some key additions there that have to perform.
Well, we're looking forward to getting started. Meanwhile, Giants head coach Tom Coughlin is anxious as well. Short time ago, he spoke with Bruce Beck.
Tom, it's time for the first dress rehearsal of the season. What's your message to the team?
The message is it's our first opportunity to go out and compete against a very good football team, a physical football team. One of our objectives, of course, is to get our physicality going at this point of the season. So that's what it's about. It's about being organized, sideline discipline, knowing who's on the field, know the rotation, play hard. When you have an opportunity to play, give it all you got, whether it's 20 plays, 25 plays, whatever it might be. Be ready to go when you go in the game. It's not going to be a complicated plan. It's going to allow you to instinctively play as hard as you can, and we want to see people enjoy themselves and play hard.
You've hit, but you haven't really tackled. Are you eager to see the way your club responds?
Well, in all aspects physically. We start every rotation with what we call our core drills with a tackling drill. It's not live. You don't put them to the ground. Tonight it'll be that way. So you always have concern for one, ball security. Got to take care of the football, but that's on both sides. You know, your people can knock the ball out as well. And then the other thing would be to be able to be in good position to tackle well, to run to the ball, to gang tackle, to have those 11 shirts wherever they have to be.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks, Bruce.
Back to you, Bob.
Well, a good look at Heinz Field. The field in outstanding condition. Temperature 78 degrees. The third member of our broadcast team is the one, the only Howard Cross, who won a Super Bowl in 1990 with the Giants. Howard, what are you looking forward to tonight and in this preseason?
You know, I'm looking forward to tonight is to see if these linebackers can step up and make a play, because it's been my 20 years with the team. You know, I've been with the team for a long time as a player and a broadcaster. I've never seen a time when they didn't have a starting linebacker. You got Rivers, Paysinger. You got guys who are going to come out there today, and Herzlich, who are not really the starters yet, and they're trying to make sure they secure those jobs. I'm waiting to see if they can do it tonight.
Well, a lot of decisions for New York Giants head coach Tom Coughlin, who enters his 10th year at the helm for the New York Giants. 83-61 in the regular season, 8-3 in the postseason, including a pair of Super Bowl wins. Meanwhile, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin, he's got a Super Bowl victory under his belt as well, 63-33 in his 7th season with the Pittsburgh Steelers, 5-3 in the postseason. Steelers won Super Bowl 43, under Tomlin. They lost Super Bowl 45 to the Green Bay Packers. Well, the Giants will kick off first. New kicker, Josh Brown, will boot the ball. And back deep, Reggie Dunn. Reggie Dunn, Carl Banks, is a talented player, a rookie out of Utah who ran a 4.2 40. Dunn, who wears number 13, in 10 kickoff returns last year in college, returned 4 for touchdowns. And the preseason underway, and Brown makes sure he's not going to return anything. Kicks it through the back of the end zone for a touchback, so the Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger will start 1st and 10 on the first possession of the preseason. There's Big Ben, 87-39 as the starting quarterback for the Steelers. 10-4 in the postseason. Last year, threw for 3,200 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Had a quarterback rating of 97. He's the Steelers' all-time leader in yards, completion percentage, quarterback rating. On a 1st and 10, Isaac Redmond starts at the tailback, and Redmond gets the first carry and gets 5. Linval Joseph made the tackle at the bottom of the pile. Starting lineups are presented by Wendy's. You see Isaac Redmond, who ran for 147 yards against the Giants last year at MetLife Stadium. Manuel Sanders and Antonio Brown, the wide receivers. Offensive line for the Steelers, Mike Adams, who was stabbed back on June the 1st. In his second year, starts at the left tackle position. Mike Pouncey, a 3-time Pro Bowler. Try Wendy's iced coffee, any size, 99 cents. For limited time, participating locations, only restrictions apply. 2nd and 5, Redmond again into the teeth of the defense and gets turned back after a gain of about 2. Take a look at the Giants starting defense delivered by Wendy's. Cullen Jenkins, the new acquisition, signed from the Eagles, will start at defensive end with Justin Tuck out. Sean Rogers brings all 350 pounds, and Matthias Kiwanuka returns to the defensive end position. Here's the question mark, the linebackers. Who will assert themselves? Paysinger, Herzlich, and Rivers get the first start. Secondary for the Giants should be deep, with Amukamara and Webster at the corners, Roll and Brown at the safeties. 3rd and 3. Roethlisberger, little swing pass, and he's got the fullback out of the backfield, Will Johnson. And that picks up a first down for Pittsburgh.
Well, the Giants have shown 2 different fronts since this game has started. They were in a 4-3, then they went to a 3-4, back to a 4-3, and they just got them lost in there. And running the football opens them up to play action.
See Herzlich coming over late to get him out of bounds at the 36-yard line. So a gain of 9 on the play, 1st and 10 for the Steelers. LaRod Stevens-Howling in at tailback now, signed from Arizona. He'll get the handoff, shut down by Webster, and then Roll wrestles into the ground. And that's a gain of 4. Keith Rivers also in on the tackle. You know, Carl, when you look at this Giant defense and the linebacker position, you know, the Giants went and they looked for guys. They signed Aaron Curry. Last year they signed Keith Rivers, kind of beating the bushes, looking for different guys that can fill the role. Who can assert themselves, though?
Well, there's a reason why they have 3 openings at linebacker. They really do need help there. They're part of the front 7, and they've got to get it established. They can't be Doolittles out there.
2nd and 6 for the Steelers. They're on the opening possession of the preseason. Kiwanuka and Jenkins, the ends for the Giants. Stevens howling, and that gets shut down by Matthias Kiwanuka. Now you get a flag on the play as well. Matthias Kiwanuka ecstatic about being back at the defensive end position.
Yeah, he's so versatile that they get fooled into thinking he can play linebacker, which he can, but he's a natural defensive end.
You saw in that last play that Stevie Brown, the safety, was held by Marcus Gilbert, so a holding penalty against the Steelers. And a Giant shaken up on the play. That's Cullen Jenkins. Jenkins started all 16 games for the Steelers for the Eagles last year. Spent 2 years in Philadelphia, 7 years in Green Bay. So while the Giant training staff tends to Cullen Jenkins, who seems to be okay, we'll take a break here in Pittsburgh. No score in the first. back in Pittsburgh, Cullen Jenkins got shaken up on the last play. Carl, he's in the middle of the screen here as he's going to pursue on the tackle. Looks like David Paulson pushes him, and then he gets kicked by Marcus Gilbert.
Yeah, upper thigh or midsection there.
There was a hold, and you saw Gilbert have a hold on Stevie Brown. So a 10-yard penalty for the Steelers. And that'll set up a 2nd and long. 2nd and 16 from their own 30. Roethlisberger out of the shotgun. Got Sanders to his right. Pass batted down at the line by Jaquan Williams. And Carl, number 57, Jaquan Williams is a rookie. Showed a lot. Last year bothered by a knee. Never got back on track, but he's an athlete that the Giants hope can regain that form.
Yeah, I tell you, Perry Field, and talking to him in the pregame, he really gets excited talking about Jaquan Williams because he's not an every down player, but he's that long yardage, pass coverage, blitz type of linebacker.
Cullen Jenkins back in. So now it's 3rd and 16 for the Giants. Defense, can they get off the field? Allowed a 3rd down conversion to the Steelers on the start of this possession. Pressure, Roethlisberger sacked by Jenkins back at the 21.
That's exactly what they need of this defensive front. Pushing from the inside out there, collapsing the pocket, and Jenkins, if he continues to play like he did in Philadelphia, he'll be a great addition for this front.
Jenkins had 38.5 career sacks. And there he gets the sack of Roethlisberger. Adrian Tracy got good pressure too in the foreground, Carl. Brian Moorman into punt, longtime Buffalo Bill. Oh, Drew Butler, excuse me. Butler, 2nd-year man. And on the return, Jaron Hosley goes nowhere, and there's a flag on the play. Robert Golden on the tackle. Tom Coughlin told us that he is going to rotate a lot of different people. Ron Winter, veteran official, our referee tonight. 55-yard punt. We'll check on the penalty.
Ineligible man downfield on the kicking team, number 40. 5-yard penalty.
They're going to make him kick it again. Tom Coughlin. Well, Giants quarterback Eli Manning is getting set. They're going to re-punt. They're going to replay 4th down here. So we will not step aside. And Eli's not ready to go, Carl.
I'll tell you, the good news here, Bob, is that on that drive, it looks like it's going to be a net 2 yards, or they'll take it back now. So that's a minus 5 yards from the starting position there. That's great news for a defense who couldn't get 3 and outs last year.
Jaron Hosley, a 2nd-year out of Virginia Tech, returned punts in college. The Giants are going to try to identify return men. They prefer to not use David Wilson on kickoff returns because he's going to get a lion's share at the running back position. Ruben Randall can also return punts. He has in practice. And that punt is blocked. Blocked by DeMontre Moore, the rookie out of Texas A&M, and recovered by the Giants at the 5-yard line. Lewis Murphy recovered it, but the rookie DeMontre Moore, the 3rd-round pick, with the block.
He has such good closing speed off the edge there. He just comes around, blocks it, but they really love his speed and his length.
Well, one of the coaches said he's got a lot of characteristics of Matthias Kiwanuka with his long reach and athleticism.
Boy, when they say he can bend. When you have a defensive lineman who can kind of bend there, he closes the gap on the quarterback in a hurry.
Lewis Murphy with the recovery, so the Giants are 1st and goal at the 5. David Wilson, the tailback for Eli Manning. Pasco, the fullback. Cruz in motion. David Wilson uses his speed and elusiveness to get back to the line of scrimmage. Ziggy Hood on the tackle for Pittsburgh.
This is the area where the Giants really can't become predictable. They know they have Eli Manning and a lot of passing weapons. They've got to move the line of scrimmage. Physicality.
Now remember the Giants are down to their 3rd-string right guards. Beatty, Booth, Boss, and Deal. You know those names, but Brandon Mosley is the right guard, number 67, who was on injured reserve all of last year. 2nd and goal from the 5. Wilson to the left of Manning. Cruz is your motion man. Manning going to throw to the end zone, and he overshoots his intended receiver, Louis Murphy. Murphy signed as a free agent from Carolina in his 5th year out of Florida. Got good high-end speed.
Now this game plan, the coaches said they didn't put in a lot of tricks and gimmicks. They wanted to keep it basic so they can get a true evaluation if the guys can beat their men up front. So it's just basically out-executing your opponent.
The Giants were excellent in the red zone last year in the first half of the season, but as the season wore on, less effective. 3rd and goal from the 5. Manning to the middle, incomplete. Intended for Ruben Randall. Ryan Clark, the veteran, on the coverage. Ike Taylor also in the mix. So a disappointing opening series for the Giants, Carl.
Yeah, they got what they wanted in terms of protection. Bad throw by Eli and good coverage
Ike Taylor.
by Ike Taylor.
Ike Taylor in his 11th year out of Louisiana Lafayette.
And Ruben Randall's a guy who's got to learn to use that big body against a guy like a shorter safety there.
11-year pro Josh Brown's first field goal attempt from 23 yards out. Weatherford to hold, and Brown knocks it through. So the Giants get a block punt by Demontre Moore and start at the Steelers' 5. They have to settle for 3. Tom Coughlin working over that checklist. Giants offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride talking with quarterback Eli Manning. Giants fail on 3 downs at the 5, and they have to settle for 3, Carl.
Well, this is the area where they've got to move the line of scrimmage there, and no game plans, no scheming. It's mano a mano, and they've got to get it done.
Good news is the Giant defense got a sack, and Demontre Moore blocked the punt. And Louis Murphy Jr. recovered it for the Giants. Josh Brown to kick off for the Giants from the 35. And this is Moore, the Chief Moore from Burlington, New Jersey. He takes it out to the 26-yard line. Now Giants preseason football on 4 New York, fueled by Hess. And the Giant defense was fueled by a sack from Cullen Jenkins to stop Ben Roethlisberger on the opening drive of the game.
Giants are showing some stoutness up front, and that's what they need. They talk about the physicality up front, and it starts with those 2 defensive tackles.
Rod Stevens howling is the setback. He'll take the delayed handoff from Roethlisberger. Scoots out to the 35-yard line. Nice pickup on first down. Sean Rogers on the tackle. It's time for our Toyota keys to the game, Carl.
Well, you got to establish up front. It starts up front, establishing a line of scrimmage, physicality. Defensively, they've shown signs. Offensively, not yet. Embracing the moment. The young players, second-year players, don't let the game get too big for you.
And this is a nice run by Rod Stevens howling. He's got a first down. Carl, finish the keys.
Well, and then the last one is organized chaos. And Coach Coughlin wants to know, will the penalties, how the organization is going to be run in terms of substitutions, making sure everybody is on the same page, getting signals, no offside penalties. And so far, so good there.
Keys to the game brought to you by Toyota. And the Steelers have 5 rushes in this game for 30 yards. So, Carl, objective 1, stopping the run, hasn't been there necessarily.
Well, they've given up 2 big runs there. One on the cutback, you lose your contain responsibility.
Stevens howling finds a crease off the right side across midfield. Tackled at the Giant 49. Spencer Pasinger on the tackle.
And here's where they're up front, initial contact, when you see the ball carrier has nowhere to go, the linebackers cannot overcommit and let the cutback lane get there. You'll see it. He's stopped there, nowhere to go. Then he finds a hole, and the linebackers are late getting over there. Hold your lane responsibility. It's called gap control.
Can Mark Herzlich fill that gap for the Giants in the middle? Chase Blackburn no longer with the team. Sanders in motion. 2nd and 4. Roethlisberger completes it to the first down marker. Sanders made the catch. Prince Mukamara with the tackle.
And you're at a disadvantage now defensively because when you give up a few big runs, your linebackers and safeties start to creep a little bit instinctively towards the line of scrimmage, not wanting to give up another big one. And play action gets them caught out there, and you can hit those 5- and 10-yard outs.
And that completion good enough for a first down, so the Steelers' drive continues. 1st and 10 at the Giants' 45 here in the first quarter. Giants in front 3-0. Rod Stevens-Howling again off the right side, and he picks up 6 yards on first down.
Run after contact. You got a linebacker that shoots the gap there, I believe, and he misses a tackle at the line of scrimmage. Either that or it was Demontre Moore, I believe. One or the other.
Let's check in on the sideline with Howard Cross.
Right now, guys, what I'm seeing is the linebackers are coming up to the line of scrimmage, but they're not crossing the line of scrimmage. There's gaps there. When you engage a blocker as a defensive lineman, you're expecting the gap to be filled beside you. The linebackers got to step up into the line and fill those gaps. And when they step up, they're getting pushed out of the way.
Mike Patterson, number 93, former Eagle, in at defensive tackle for the Giants. 2nd and 4. Stevens-Howling. That time it was contained, and he gets tackled after a gain of a couple.
And that's what it should be. That should be the yield when everyone plays their gap responsibility. The safety came up, set the edge, and had nowhere to go. See the safety? No, that's Prince Mukamara comes in and sets the edge, and Stevie Brown cleans it up.
So the Steelers now with a 3rd and 1 at the Giants' 36. Going to run it on the inside and falling ahead for the first down is Rod Stevens-Howling. And what did Tom Coughlin tell us today in our production meeting? We don't want to see the running backs falling forward.
That means you got to set a wall there. You got to set the wall. Be impact players.
That's another Pittsburgh Steelers.
Rod Stevens-Howling goes out for the Steelers. Jonathan Dwyer comes in at the tailback position. So Pittsburgh has used the run on this drive effectively. Roethlisberger brings Brown in motion. Little screen for Dwyer. Incomplete. Kiwanuka felt he was held.
And normally during a long drive, in a normal game situation, the players will be looking for a bailout blitz or something, but now they just got to play their guys and play their responsibilities. That's a good job there of Mathias Kiwanuka getting in the passing lane.
Felt he was held by Gilbert, who's been called for a hold already. Jonathan Hankins, number 74, in a defensive tackle for the Giants, along with Mike Patterson. Now Pittsburgh is going to call a timeout with the play clock down to 1. Hankins, a rookie out of Ohio State, taken in the 2nd round. More Giants preseason football fueled by Hess after this. Tonight's game on NBC4 New York is fueled by Hess. And a gorgeous evening in Pittsburgh. That's the Allegheny River and the Ohio and the Monongahela make up the confluence, the 3 rivers of Pittsburgh. David Wilson getting a little bike work in. New York Giants preseason football on NBC4 New York, fueled by Hess. Off a Pittsburgh timeout. Here in the first, Giants in front 3-0. 2nd and 10 for Roethlisberger and the Steelers. Has time to throw. Little underneath route and completes it for a first down. Emmanuel Sanders, who had 44 catches last year. The Steelers trying to make up for the absence of Mike Wallace, who signed a big money deal in Miami.
Well, it's all nickel and dime here. Here's a slight little crossing route that goes for big yardage, and Todd Haley is the master of misdirection there. He pulled the receiver in and ran him underneath the tackle to get him free.
So the Steelers have it 1st and 10 at the Giants 20. Drive started at the Pittsburgh 25-yard line. Sanders, the motion man. Roethlisberger looking for a double move with Brown, and Roethlisberger took a hit from rookie Demontre Moore.
Yeah, Demontre Moore was on him before the play fake was over.
Demontre Moore was a first-team All-American out of Texas A&M. Had 85 tackles, 12.5 sacks last year in college.
Boy, look, they had a tight end on him. He just whipped right by him. And good coverage there caused Ben Roethlisberger to pull the ball down.
Moore 6'5", 250 pounds, just 20 years of age. Second and 10, Giants bring a blitz. Roethlisberger for Brown, but he's out of bounds. Made the catch, but he was out of bounds. Corey Webster on the coverage. Carl, let's talk about the coverage here of Webster, who had a rough year last year.
Yeah, Webster's a guy that, when he's on, he's on. He's a long guy, can cover well, but he has lapses at times. He can be one of the best cornerbacks on the team when he's locked in, but he really has to make a concerted effort to stay focused and play the technique that's called for.
Hankins in a defensive tackle with Patterson. Now we're going to get a timeout in Pittsburgh. Their second timeout here in the first quarter. So Roethlisberger will step aside. Giants head coach Tom Coughlin looking on. Giants preseason football on NBC New York, fueled by Hess. Stay connected to your Giants at home and on the go with Fios Quantum Internet and NFL Mobile from Verizon. That's powerful. Back at Heinz Field, Bob Papa, Carl Banks, Howard Cross. Get a look at Antrell Roll. Started all 16 games last year, 108 tackles, a two-time Pro Bowler. 2009 and 2010. And the leader of that Giants secondary. 3rd and 10 for the Steelers. Long drive. The Steelers have used the run effectively. Rodgers and Hankins on the defensive front as tackles. A little anxious by Adrian Tracy, but he got back. Roethlisberger, the middle, completes it, but the tackle made by Webster short of the first down on on Jericho Cotchery, the former Jet, or Emmanuel Sanders, excuse me.
Let's see if they go for it, but that's an example of Corey Webster playing the technique, playing the sticks there, and that was a tough throw. Looks like they're going to go for it.
The Giants get their special teams personnel off. Roethlisberger, 241 pounds, really keep it. 4th and less than a yard. He's going to just try to get the Giants to jump. Play clock is down to 8. No, he's not going to run a play. And they take the delay of game penalty.
That's good discipline there by the Giants, and that's what Coughlin wanted.
And
organizational.
And Mike Tomlin,
5-yard penalty.
look, Roethlisberger is your meal
down.
ticket. He's gone to 3 Super Bowls. You don't want him sticking his head in there in the first preseason game and potentially getting dinged.
Yeah, you really don't.
And the Steelers have 2 kickers on their roster. Sean Sweezum was here last year, and Daniel Ratman. Sean Sweezum is going to get the kick. Last year he hit 90% of his kicks. Drew Butler to hold. 34-yarder. And Sweezum knocks it through. So the 2 teams match field goals here in the first quarter. Giants and Steelers tied at 3. Tonight's game on NBC4 New York is brought to you by MetLife. Check out MetLifeCentral.com for great prizes. By Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Giants. By Ticketmaster, the NFL Ticket Exchange powered by Ticketmaster, the official resale marketplace of the Giants. Gorgeous look at Pittsburgh as the sun sets on this Saturday evening. Eli Manning and the Giants ran 3 plays from the Pittsburgh 5, no yards. They had to settle for a field goal after Demontre Moore blocked the punt. Steelers last drive, 13 plays, 58 yards. Sweezum to kick it off. Michael Cox, a rookie out of UMass, will catch it at the back of the end zone. for a touchback. So the Giants starting offense will come on the field, led by quarterback Eli Manning. 78-57 in the regular season as a starting quarterback, 8-3 in the postseason. Started 135 consecutive regular season games. So the starters will remain out there for Tom Coughlin. David Wilson, the tailback. Pasco in motion. Manning to throw. Manning looking for Ruben Randall, who can't make the play. Got around Ike Taylor, but could not reach it.
Now, last year, before they start tweaking the pass interference rule, that would have probably been a 5-yard penalty because he did get in his path, but the referee saw no type of penalty there.
Manning 0 for 3. Randall's made a lot of big plays for the Giants so far in camp.
I'll tell you, though, the most impressive part of that play, even though it was incomplete, was David Wilson picking up a blitzer there.
That's an area in which has been a big focus in training camp. Wilson, nowhere to run. Troy Polamalu makes the tackle after a yard. Here's the starting lineup for the Giants. Presented by Wendy's. You saw David Wilson with the carry. Ruben Randall in there. Team Nick's not in the lineup tonight. Offensive line, most of the regulars are there, except for Brandon Mosley, the right guard, number 67. In his first action, missed all of last year due to an ankle injury. In for Chris Snee at right guard, and James Brewer, who's been getting work there, dinged up in practice as well. 3rd and 9. Andre Brown in. Manning to Randall, makes a man miss, and Ruben Randall has got a first down out to the 36-yard line.
Good job by Ruben Randall there. Now here's a kid that last year was totally uncomfortable with this system, and you can see now he knows, he saw the blitz hot read there, he gets it, and his run after catch.
Made Troy Polamalu miss right at the first down marker after the first defender slid by.
They wouldn't have trusted him to make that read there last year.
Last year, Ruben Randall had 19 catches. Brandon Myers in motion comes set right on a 1st and 10. Cruz in motion now comes set. David Wilson gets a yard or 2, and that's about it. William Gay and Ryan Clark on the tackle, along with Lawrence Timmons. As we take a look at the Steelers' defense, Ziggy Hood, Steve McClendon, and Brett Kiesel start up front. The linebackers, Lamar Woodley. Can he return to his 2009 Pro Bowl form when he had 13.5 sacks? In the secondary, Polamalu and Clark at the safeties. William Gay back after spending a couple of years in Arizona.
This group has been together for a while, and they are fundamentally sound.
Nowhere to run for David Wilson as he takes it out to the 42-yard line. It's a gain of a couple on the play.
This is the test that this Giant offense needs early. I mean, they get in these 3rd and 10s and expect the quarterback to bail them out. At times, they're going to have to move the line of scrimmage. This is a 3rd and manageable here.
Lewis Murphy Jr. is checked on for the Giants. On a 3rd and 4, he's split to the top of your screen. Cruz in a slot left. Manning under some pressure, middle of the field. He's got Victor Cruz, makes the catch, and Cruz will score. Salsa time number 1 in 2013, 57 yards.
Good read there, good protection, but they were in a wide cover 2. There's a 2-man, it looks like, and the middle of the field was wide open. Good initial release by Victor Cruz to get the inside position.
Protection was good enough. Manning stepped up, and Victor Cruz does what he does, makes big plays.
Yeah, all is well now. He didn't participate in the off-season program, but that makes it all go away.
Tom Coughlin said he's knocking off the rust this week. He looked pretty good. Well, that's big play Victor Cruz. Josh Brown on for the extra point. capping off an 80-yard drive. And with 1:10 to go here in the first, Giants back in front, 10-3.
10 remaining in the first quarter. Giants 10, Steelers 3.
Manning the Cruz has electrified a lot of people, and there's Victor Cruz, a little salsa, which he's made famous.
He said,
So funny, every charity event he goes to, people want him to do the salsa. Giant fans want to see him doing it in the games. Kevin Gilbride with a big smile for Eli.
And again, that was just simple technique execution. They didn't have anything fancy in there. Coach Coughlin said he wasn't going to game plan a lot either side of the ball. They just wanted to see how their players executed their assignments, and that was one where Victor Cruz was better than the guy guarding him.
He wanted to see how some of these young guys went through a pregame meal.
Yeah, he wants to see how they handled that.
It's all about learning, and this is an opportunity for the bottom guys on the roster. This is going to be, as we get into the second half, this is going to be their big chance, because as you get to the second and third preseason games before you have your first cut, the starters play more regularly.
Yeah.
Brown kicks it through the back of the end zone. That's one of the reasons why the Giants signed him, because of his deep leg. Well, coming September the 5th, it's NFL kickoff on NBC. The defending Super Bowl champion Ravens will travel to Denver to take on Peyton Manning and the Broncos, a rematch for the divisional playoffs. Then it's September the 8th, Sunday Night Football. The Giants go to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. NFL weekend, September the 5th, only on NBC.
Manning in both games.
Bruce Gradkowski, in his 8th year out of Toledo, spent the last couple of years in Cincinnati in at quarterback for the Steelers. Played with Cleveland, Tampa, and the Raiders. He'll throw on first down. Finds the fullback Johnson. Shouldered down by Ryan Mundy, the former Steeler, as we check in with Howard Cross.
Guys, great drive by the offense. They did a good job getting the ball downfield. 2 big pass plays. Still a little concerned with the run game. They got to shore up the outside so they can keep them guys moving up the field. The outside is what's breaking down on them a little bit, and they're getting some undue pressure.
Now let's see if the defense can stop the run. The Steelers had 36 yards rushing on that last drive. DeMontre Moore in at one of the defensive ends. Hankins, another rookie at one of the defensive tackles. They run at Hankins. Giants have it bottled up, but Dwyer bounces it outside, and he's got a first down. It looked like Jaquan Williams had contained Carl, but he didn't contain.
Yeah, he's at the point of attack there. We get a replay out, circle it, but he just couldn't get his hands free and maintain leverage. You know, sometimes getting up there and showing your jersey is not enough. Here he is, and he just couldn't get off the block, maintain leverage on the runner, not necessarily the blocker. The fine things, the little things that make the position easy. He can get that done, though.
Patterson and Hankins are the tackles. Moore at the defensive end at the top of your screen. Tracy on the bottom of your screen. Dwyer gets gobbled up by Tyler Sash. That's a loss of a couple on the play. And that's the end of quarter number 1 here in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin and Tom Coughlin greeting each other. A block punt by rookie DeMontre Moore and Manning the Cruz for 57. Giants in front after 1. Rookie DeMontre Moore had a block punt in the first quarter in with Giants defense. Hankins and Patterson are the defensive tackles. Tracy and Moore are the ends. Gradkowski to throw under some pressure. Throws it to the far sideline, and a diving catch made by Marcus Wheaton. Wheaton, a talented rookie out of Oregon State, taken in the 3rd round with a nice play.
Boy, that was a long developing play there, too. Ball stayed in the air for a long time. Let's look at the replay here. Not much of a pass rush. He steps into it. Deep outcut. That was both feet in. Safeties weren't quite there.
Tom Coughlin's going to throw the challenge flag. Was the ball? Oh, the ball moved. The ball came out. That's not a catch. That is not a catch. That ball moved, and then it hit the ground. He did not control it throughout the act of the catch. Tom Coughlin, who's been in a little slump the last couple of years with his challenges after being dynamite the previous couple of years. Looks like he's going to win challenge number 1. We'll be back in Pittsburgh with the Giants in front, 10-3. Back in Pittsburgh, rookie Marcus Wheaton made a diving acrobatic catch, but Carl, our replay shows that he did not control it throughout the catch.
You'll see it right there. It comes out.
Moving, and then it's on the ground. Now remember, the Steelers also have a telecast. The officials are using the Steelers telecast in all the reviews, but the Steelers have already moved back. So Tom Coughlin threw the challenge flag, and that 21-yard pass play is probably going to be negated. You see the ball clearly comes out and moves along the ground. So here's Ron Winter after reviewing the play.
After review, the receiver did not maintain possession of the ball throughout the process of completing the catch. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass. It'll be third down. Please reset the game clock to 14:55.
And that was an easy one for Coach Coughlin because that was right in front of him.
Yeah, right at his feet.
He saw the ball on the ground. Said, well, wait a second. Wheaton had 91 catches for 1,200 yards last year in college. Adrian Tracy at the bottom of your screen, one of the defensive ends for the Giants. Moore at the top of the screen. See Dan Connor, number 53, in at linebacker. Giants are using 3 safeties with Tyler Sash in the game as well. Dan Connor, former Carolina Panther and Cowboy. 3rd and 12 for Gradkowski and the Steelers. Gradkowski with some time. Gradkowski to the seam. It's incomplete.
Good coverage there by Connor.
Intended for Jonathan Dwyer. Now it's time for our New York Lottery Sideline Report. We welcome in Bruce Beck.
All right, Bob. Well, a very good first quarter for Spencer Paysinger, who is bidding to become the starter at that weak side linebacker position. And he said something very poignant during the week. He said, if you know what you're doing on the field, you'll play faster. And he says he does know what he's doing now. He's more active. He's more aggressive. He's quick on his feet. The young man's in his 3rd year out of Oregon, and he played that first quarter with the kind of ferocity that he needs to play to make this team as a starter. Bob?
Well, Bruce, the Giants are looking for guys to assert themselves. Drew Butler with the punt. J-Ron Hosley with the return. Stevenson Sylvester hobbles off. 41-yard punt, 4-yard return. Butler got it away quickly because his last one was blocked.
Boy, no one got him blocked there. The tackler, Sylvester, he ran right down the field, made a tackle.
Sylvester got taken out by his own man, Marcus Wheaton, right there at the end of the play.
And that's Mike Patterson there that was blocking. He's got to get more on him than that.
Eli Manning is done for the night. David Carr is in. All 4 quarterbacks will play for the Giants tonight. Andre Brown, the tailback. Carr to throw, nearly intercepted.
David Carr, quarterback.
Threw it out in the flat, nearly picked up by Robert Golden, the safety.
Yeah, he read that one all the way.
2nd and 10. Giants at their 25.
Wow. That was some speed, closing speed there by the safety. Safeties are in there shallow.
Carr to throw. Carr to Brandon Myers, the new Giant. He makes the catch out at the 45-yard line. Myers signed as an unrestricted free agent. Had his best year last year in Oakland with 79 catches and 806 yards.
Yeah, it's good ball placement and good route running there by Meyer. They had a lot of receivers in this area. Here he is as he sits down. Look at the ball placement and the route. He did not drift. He was exactly where the quarterback needed him.
Giants starting offensive line remains in. First and 10, Andre Brown trying to bounce it outside. Does, and turns something into 5. That's one of the areas that Brandon Myers has to get better at blocking. Andre Brown was able to create something out of nothing there.
Well, we know one thing about this offense. They can pass the ball all over the lot. What they need to do is establish a running game, not necessarily as something they need on a regular basis, but when they need to get a run, they need to know that they can do it.
Giants have 4 quarterbacks in camp, so Carr's in a battle. They drafted Ryan Nassib, and they brought in Curtis Painter as well. Bobbled by Brown, and he doesn't recover it, and the Steelers have it. Jarvis Jones, the rookie first-round pick out of Georgia, recovered it for Pittsburgh, but poor play by Andre Brown. A turnover with no contact.
Yeah, totally a bad play because trying to get the ball and get back up, just fall on the grenade.
Ball security is something that Tom Coughlin stresses. Well, Andre Brown, a lot to think about after turning the football over. Unforced error, Carl. There was no contact, just a little toss from David Carr.
Yeah, and a drive killer, but here, once the ball gets on the ground, he's got to have all eyes on that ball there. He just can't look for the blockers or the oncoming pursuit. Fall on the grenade.
How about this? David Wilson, who had a fumble early last year, consoling Andre Brown.
Well, he knows the feeling of getting chewed out by Tom Coughlin. It's a fraternity there. They've got to lift each other.
Tom Coughlin's Giants turn it over, had a nice little drive going. Gradkowski remains in at quarterback. On a 1st and 10, he'll throw. Chased by Hankins, flows by Rivers, and Rivers gets a hit on the quarterback, and that pass is incomplete. New Faces feature brought to you by Ford. To find out more about your Tri-State dealers, get deals, call ** Ford NY from your mobile device. Message and data rates may apply. And Carl, some of the new faces for the Giants. First, the draft picks.
Well, you got Pugh, Hankins, Demontre Moore, Nassib, Cooper Taylor, Eric Herman, and Michael Cox.
Cooper Taylor not playing tonight. Neither is Justin Pugh. Saw Demontre Moore block a punt. Jonathan Hankins, number 74, got some good pressure on the last play. 2nd and 10, blitz on. Little inside screen to Dwyer, and Moore makes the tackle after a gain of 2. Nice play by Moore, Carl.
He's a closer, Bob, and what I mean by closer, he will turn and close on the football, or if he's rushing going forward, he's always making ground.
The Giants got nice pressure on the play there as well, and then Moore recognized it and made the play.
And he was part of the pressure first and then turned around and closed on the receiver there.
The Steelers face a 3rd and long. Giants have 1 sack. That was Cullen Jenkins of Roethlisberger in the 1st. And a false start against the Steelers.
Offense number 11. 5-yard penalty. Range 3rd down.
Wide receiver Marcus Wheaton called for the penalty. We check in with Howard Cross.
You got Connor, who looks very good, very active. Seems like he's got a better flow for the game at the middle linebacker position. Very impressed with him right now. He's filling the hole really well, making plays in the passing game. Not really, you watch your middle linebacker, you want him to be close to receiver when the ball's thrown. He's always on top of his guy. He's looking good in this thing.
Dan Connor with the Cowboys last year, former 3rd-round pick of Carolina. He and Williams are the 2 linebackers, and the Giants go in their sub package. Tracy at the bottom of your screen, one of the defensive ends, and now Pittsburgh will utilize the timeout, their 3rd here in the first half, facing a 3rd and 15 at the Giants' 49. So Tom Coughlin hoping that his defense can pick up his offense, Carl, which is part of complementary football. Andre Brown made a mistake, fumbled it, but the defense trying to come up big as Eli Manning talks it over with Andre Brown.
Well, they have favorable field position here, number 1, and see if they can get after the quarterback.
Well, sign up for the 3rd annual Giants Blood Drive at MetLife Stadium on August the 25th. Space is limited. Call 1-800-RED-CROSS or go to redcrossblood.org for more details.
I'd say field position, but down and distance is favorable towards the defense.
Good start for the rookie DeMontre Moore.
See if he can get some pressure here.
Get a look at Marvin Austin, who's in the ball game for the Giants at one of the defensive tackle spots. Gradkowski on a 3rd and 15. Feels some pressure from Moore. Checks it down underneath to Paulson. Chased by Connor. And the Giants get him down short of the sticks. Connor and Aaron Ross came over and tackled Paulson a couple of yards short of the first down.
Yeah, the Giants here got unbalanced in their pass rush. All guys to one side, and quarterback steps up and finds a crosser.
Pittsburgh's going to go for it here on a 4th and 2. With the ball at the Giants 36. Wheaton in motion for Gradkowski. Gradkowski under pressure from Moore. Finds the middle of the field. Wheaton makes the catch, and he's got a first down at the Giants 28. Ryan Mundy, the former Steeler, on the tackle.
Yeah, good movement there by Gradkowski and eluding the rush and then finding his eyes downfield to get the receiver. There he is on the move there, and he throws back inside. Finds the receiver.
Moore's doing a nice job, though, Carl, as you see Gradkowski deliver the ball to Wheaton. He's doing a good job against the Steelers starting right tackle, Marcus Gilbert, number 77, who stays in the game.
Well, that's the one thing you wanted to see for him, because if they can get 3 pass rushers on this defense, they'll be in really good shape.
Dwyer with the run, picks up 6. Tyler Sash on the tackle. In fact, the Steelers have their starting offensive line in, with the exception of Marquise Pouncey, the center. John Malecki is in at center. So this Giant second unit of defensive players getting a look at the Steelers starters.
Yeah, and they've got to be stout against the run. Good running football team, and they are concentrating on that.
Dwyer in a one-back set. Dwyer trying to run to his left. Giants shut it down nicely. Keith Rivers shut it down initially, and then Tremaine McBride came in to clean up.
It's a good job by Rivers pursuing the ball down the line here. Here he is, following the ball, keeps leverage on it, gets him down.
And you know who else made that play? Number 69, Justin Tratow, who was injured last year because he gummed up everything at the point of attack, Carl.
Yep, setting the edge.
Keith Rivers started 6 games for the Giants last year. Loss of a yard, 3rd and 5. Gradkowski, quick hitter, and a pass incomplete, intended for Paulson. Tyler Sash on the coverage. So the Steelers will bring out the field goal unit with 9:12 to go here in the first. New York Giants preseason football on NBC4 New York, fueled by Hess. 41-yard field goal attempt coming up for Sean Sweeson. Made a 34-yarder back in the first quarter. Butler to hold. Operation is clean. And Sweeson right down the middle. So the Steelers get a Sweeson 41-yard field goal. Giants in front 10-6 here in the second. In Pittsburgh, New York Giants preseason football on NBC4 New York, fueled by S. And Connor, Tyler Sash. Giant defense holding the Steelers to a 41-yard field goal. Giants with a 10-6 lead on the strength of a Victor Cruz 57-yard touchdown catch and run from Eli Manning. Sweeson will kick off for the Steelers. Rookie Michael Cox back deep for the Giants. Another lining kick. Cox has to leap to catch it. And the Giants will start at their own 20. This is an important message for all Giants fans attending games at MetLife Stadium. In an effort to enhance public safety, a new NFL bag policy will be implemented this season beginning at the first preseason game. Guests are welcome to carry in a clear bag 12 inches by 6 by 12 or small purses/handbags that are 4.5 by 6.5 inches or less in size. Any non-clear bag exceeding the size limit, including camera or binocular bags, will not be permitted. The Giants appreciate your assistance and cooperation with these policies. For more information, go to Giants.com. Andre Brown, the tailback. David Carr to Andre Brown. Andre Brown picks up 7 on the circle route out of the backfield.
Good job. This is one of the areas that Coach Coughlin talked about as well, getting the backs involved in the passing game because they have that skill set, getting them on mismatches with, when you can put 3 wide receivers, 4 wide receivers, and the back becomes a 5th, it'd be a big asset.
Giants have shuffled their offensive line on a second down. Andre Brown squeezes ahead, gets to the 29. He's a yard short of the first down. So the Giants have subbed out their starting offensive line now. So Andre Brown got the carry. When you get a look at the offensive line, Jim Cordell is in at center. Mosley's going to stay at right guard. He's got to get to work. Stephen Gooden in at right tackle. Selvish Capers at the left guard. And Will Beatty stays in at left tackle. So one starter remains in. 3rd and less than 1. Brown, first down to the 36. Picks up 7 on the play and a first down for the Giants.
Yeah, it's a good way to redeem yourself in the eyes of the coach. You can get a 7-yarder and get the tough 2-yarder to keep the chains moving. It's good blocking there.
Jim Cordell, the center, bounced off and helped open up that hole, Carl.
That's what you need, second level blocking there. And Selfish Capers was at the point of attack.
So 1st and 10 for Carr and the Giants. He's going to throw. He's under pressure. Carr's still got good legs, and he's able to get out of bounds after a gain of about a yard.
Yeah, and that was good coverage by the Steelers because the protection was really good there, and Andre Brown got a good block there on the left side, and right side was taken care of. Here he is here, gets his block. Lots of time there. Carr couldn't find anyone.
And Cordell did a nice job, Carl, at the end to give Carr that last second to kind of escape and pick up a yard. Larry Donald went in motion to the slot left. And Carr needs a timeout with the play clock down to 2. 6:50 to go here in the second quarter. Giants in front of the Steelers 10-6. Giants preseason football on NBC4 New York, fueled by Hess. Giants head coach Tom Coughlin always fired up. We had a chance to visit with him this morning. He was in very good spirits, Carl, during our production meeting, and just really anxious to see a lot of these young guys and see if they can apply what they've learned in the classroom and on the practice field and actually do it in a game situation where the other team is an unknown quantity.
Well, let's face it, the entire offseason and even training camp, it's pretty much been chalk talks. You get limited contact, and you want to make sure that when the live action starts in September, that your guys are fully engulfed in what you want them to do and fundamentally sound. So this is the first time they'll really get a chance to look at film and evaluate against another opponent.
2nd and 9 for Carr and the Giants. Andre Brown takes his way all the way out to the 45. He's a couple yards short of the first down. Well, your coach, Bill Parcells, just inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You take a look at the records of Tom Coughlin and Bill Parcells. Parcells 8 years with the Giants, Coughlin into his 10th. See the win percentage in Parcells' favor. Through 8 years, they had the same postseason record, Carl. They won Super Bowls in their 4th and their 8th years as head coach of the Giants. So when you think about Tom Coughlin and what he did in the startup with Jacksonville, I've got to think that Tom Coughlin one day will be having his bust in the Hall of Fame.
Nothing like, there's a sack there.
David Carr gets sacked.
David Carr is sacked.
Tried to set up a screen. Jason Worlds got the sack. But, you know, because you have to take into what Tom Coughlin did in Jacksonville as well, taking that team to the AFC Championship and building the team literally from the ground up. As you get a look at the sack by Jason World.
Yeah, I mean, he is so committed to the fundamentals of winning, and he subscribes to that wholeheartedly. And you could tell that's how he built Jacksonville from the ground up in such a fast way. They were a pretty good football team in short order for an expansion team.
And they drafted very well, and they made the trade for Mark Brunell. Here's Dunn. He may run a 4.240, but if you have no blocking, you ain't running anywhere. Tremaine McBride on the tackle, 52-yard punt, 3-yard return. Back in Pittsburgh after this. Next Saturday morning, NBC and the NBC Sports Network become the exclusive home of the Premier League. Coverage begins at 7 on the NBC Sports Network, leading up seeing Manchester United Saturday at 12:30 Eastern here on NBC. Premier League coming to NBC and NBC Sports Network.
And it's big because you've got a lot of soccer enthusiasts, or football enthusiasts, as you would say.
Manchester United, the marquee soccer franchise, known around the world like the Yankees.
Indeed.
1st and 10. Gradkowski gives for Dwyer, nowhere to go, and he'll lose about a half a yard. Let's take a look at some of the players out there for the Giants. Tackle was made by Dan Connor. You got Mike Patterson and Marvin Austin at the tackle spots. Dan Connor is in there at the linebacker. You see Ryan Mundy, number 21. Demontre Moore remains in the ball game for the Giants.
Quan Williams, he's a kid that needs to get the experience, needs the time on the field.
Terrence Frederick, number 36, in at one of the corner spots. Mundy and Sash are the safeties. We try to keep you updated on the personnel in the game. On a 2nd and 10, pass completed and the tackle made immediately by Frederick on the wide receiver, Justin Brown, a rookie 6th-round pick out of Oklahoma. There's Terrence Frederick, signed as a free agent last year. Practice squad, Texas A&M.
Gets an early audition here. He's in the first half of the game.
So it's 3rd and 4 for the Steelers. Giants in front 10-6. Tracy and Moore are the defensive ends for the Giants. Adrian Tracy at the bottom of the screen. Giants on a blitz. Here comes Connor on Gradkowski. Gradkowski eludes him and slides for the first down.
Well, that's the problem with blitzing. When you go man-to-man and you blitz, everyone has their back to the quarterback, so no one sees him scrambling. Everybody's out of there. Protection breaks down. He's out, and no one's there to take him down.
So a frustrated Dan Connor cannot get the 30-year-old Bruce Gradkowski to the ground, and Gradkowski picks up the first down for Pittsburgh. From the Steelers 35. Little end around to the wide receiver Wheaton, tackled by Sash after a gain of 10 and a first down.
Number 11, Marcus Wheaton.
Well, misdirection there, and
Tackled by Sash.
get the corner set, the edge set there, but no one in pursuit. There's your fake there, but he runs right inside of the contain, coming up right there.
And Mike Patterson also kind of overran it at the start. Patterson and Marvin Austin, the defensive tackles on the field for the Giants. 1st and 10 for the Steelers. Gradkowski to throw. Screen for Dwyer, and that's going to lose a yard or two. Demontre Moore again on the tackle. Aaron Curry in the game for the Giants, number 59. We check in with Howard Cross.
Giants defense has been very strong up the middle, but guys on the edges, they're not able to come up. I know you're saying they're setting the edges, but they're not coming down and squeezing. Setting the edge, making you run inside when there's not enough people to contain. You can set the edge and leave a big hole, and they've done it twice. That's what happened with Connor on his quarterback. When he rushed the quarterback, he didn't have anybody on the edge coming up.
Matt Broha, number 54, and is one of the defensive ends for the Giants. Let's get a look at Jaquan Williams. 2nd and 11. Dwyer, nowhere to go. Giants had it read perfectly. And Jaron Hosley came down to make the tackle. That takes us to the 2-minute warning in Pittsburgh. Giants in front, 10-6. We're just 26 days away. Thursday night, September the 5th, the defending Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens are in Denver. A rematch of last year's divisional playoff with Joe Flacco hooking up with Jacoby Jones, Bob Costas. And the Sunday Night Football crew will be on hand. Keith Urban will have the entertainment. It's kickoff weekend. It all starts Thursday, September the 5th, 7:30 right here on NBC4 New York. Can't wait, Carl.
It's going to be fun. Opening night.
Ravens got off to a good start earlier this week. Their preseason win. Bradkowski looking deep. And the pass underthrown and incomplete, intended for Justin Brown. Take a look at the Sunday Night Football schedule. Of course, Baltimore, Denver to kick off the season. The Giants and Cowboys in Dallas. The Giants 4-0 in Jerry Jones' new stadium. The Steelers will be on Sunday Night Football on September the 22nd as they play host to Jay Cutler and the Chicago Bears and new head coach Mark Trestman. Look forward to that New England-Atlanta game as well.
It's quite a lineup of games there now.
Terrell Jernigan back deep to receive this punt from Drew Butler, who had one blocked. Jernigan lets it bounce over his head and into the end zone for a touchback. So a 55-yard punt, net of 35. And Giants head coach Tom Coughlin, again, the evaluation, the coaching, sort of zeroing in on how these players, as he rotates players in and out, apply what they're learning and now do it in game conditions against a team not in a Giant uniform.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the guy who's going to stand out when they cut that film on is DeMontre Moore. Even on that last third down incompletion, he was right there in the quarterback's lap.
David Carr will stay in at quarterback for the Giants. Terrell Jernigan and Chris Adams, wide receivers. Adams to the bottom of your screen. A draw to David Wilson, and Wilson takes it out near the 30-yard line and picks up almost 10 on the play. Will they give him the first down? They do not, so it's 2nd and inches, officially a gain of 9. Carr on a 2nd and 1, completes it to Adrian Robinson for a first down. Robinson, in his 2nd year out of Cincinnati, played just 2 games, but Carl is big, he's physical, extremely athletic, and he has played a lot better in this training camp.
Well, he's starting to get a feel for what they expect of him at that position.
Carr running the 2-minute offense, middle of the field, and completes it to the 48-yard line, and that's a first down. Giants will call a timeout with 55 seconds. Terrell Jernigan on the catch for the Giants. So how do these young guys on the offensive line and these young receivers handle the 2-minute offense?
Well, one thing that you're seeing right away, you got David Wilson in there because I think they want him to get some work as a blocker and as a receiver in there. And these young guys, execution, that's what they want. There's an expectation for every position, and all they have to do is do their job. Don't exceed it, but do what the offense calls for.
Hey, Giants fans, be sure to tune into MSG Network this preseason and all season long for a weekly lineup of Giants programming, including the premiere of Giants First and 10, only on MSG Network. Check your local listings. And, of course, Giants Training Camp Live, fueled by Hess, every night in which the Giants have a practice. First and 10 for Carr. Looking deep down the left side for Jernigan, and it's incomplete. Jernigan tied up with Damon Cromartie-Smith.
Could not get any separation on that one, and Carr put the air under the ball so he could run under it and get it, but just couldn't get the separation. Now, Carr did zip that a bit, too. He could have floated a little bit. Carr took a hit in delivering it.
Giants have 1 timeout remaining.
It's Carr. Got to get it up in the air. Yep, he takes a hit.
Took one high. 2nd and 10. With 49 seconds to go in the half. Eli Manning threw a 57-yard touchdown pass to Victor Cruz. That's how the Giants have the lead again. Carr, Lewis Murphy Jr. has got a first down. He can't get out of bounds. So the clock will continue to move. And let's see if the Giants use that last timeout. Nope, they do not use it. Down to 30 seconds to go in the half. It is a first down for the Giants at the Steelers' 40. Carr to Wilson. Flag on the play as Wilson gets nothing. And that's where you need a more accurate throw, Carl.
Yeah. That's just poorly executed. When you get a guy like Wilson in space.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 93. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Jason Worlds from Carteret, New Jersey, call for roughing the passer. The Giants get a break. They don't have to use the timeout. The pass play was in the field of play, and Wilson got tackled, but the penalty stopped the clock. So it's a 15-yarder. It'll put the ball at the Steelers' 25-yard line, 24-yard line.
Yeah, and Worlds is a guy who's there to replace James Harrison there. He's a big kid too, so they're getting him extended work, getting him ready for the season.
1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. David Carr trying to add to your 10-6 lead. Adams split to the top of the screen. Jernigan's in a slot right. Steelers show blitz. Carr to throw for Adams. Adams ran a post. Carr threw a corner.
And David Wilson in there on blitz pickup, knowing where he had to go.
Chris Adams, in his 2nd year out of Texas El Paso, came into the league as a free agent with Chicago, spent time with Chicago, St. Louis, Minnesota, and Indianapolis. Played in 3 games with the Colts last year, had 2 catches for 26 yards. 6'3", 194-pounder.
Now, if they can flood the middle of the field, they can get something and still have a timeout.
2nd and 10.
There it is.
Carr to Wilson. Wilson jukes along the sideline. Gets out of bounds, and a late flag comes in the vicinity of holding.
Well, I tell you, David Carr missed an opportunity. He had a tight end right up the seam, uncovered. He had his mind made up that he was going to go to Wilson, though.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 93 defense.
There he is
After
again.
this is to the goal, first down.
He's picking up where James Harrison left off.
Yeah, steal the shoes to the tee there.
James Harrison.
Can't keep pounding the quarterback.
James Harrison now in Cincinnati, and Mike Tomlin is going to address this with Jason Worlds. 30 yards of penalties by Worlds on this drive. So now with 10 seconds to go, it's 1st and 10 at the Steelers' 12, and the Giants have 1 timeout remaining. Wilson in the backfield with Carr. Carr to Adams, incomplete. You know, Carr's got that unique delivery, Carl, but he zips the ball.
Yeah, the ball comes out with high velocity even on some of his fade routes, and you know, he doesn't take it back, you know, put a little air under it.
He didn't give Adams any chance to win the jump ball against the 5'10" Isaiah Green.
No, he threw it to the target, but it got there really fast.
30-yard field goal attempt for Josh Brown, who was with the Bengals last year, longtime Seattle Seahawk. Weatherford to hold, and the kick is right down the middle. So Josh Brown converts both of his field goals. And Eli Manning throws a 57-yard touchdown pass to Victor Cruz. DeMontre Moore blocked the punt. Good start for the Giants in preseason game number 1. They lead the Steelers 13-6. A little salsa for Cruz here on NBC4 New York, fueled by Hess.
Bruce Beck back at Heinz Field with Giants head coach Tom Coughlin. First, your offense. You had a good drive with Eli and then a pretty good job with David Carr. Your thoughts on the way the offense performed?
Well, obviously we're lacking all the parts, but, I was glad to see us get on the board.
Defense, you talked about tackling, you talked about execution, that physicality. Are you disappointed or are you okay?
We'll see. At the first half, they had a couple drives on us. They knocked some first downs out. They recovered from like a 3rd and 15, which that always bothers me. But, we're in our first preseason game.
Have a good second half.
Thank you.
All right, Bob, back to you.
All right, Giants head coach Tom Coughlin leads his team back out onto the field as we get set for the start of the second half. And Carl, talk about stopping the run. 16 rushes for Steeler running backs for 72 yards. LaRon Stevens-Howling averaged 5.7 a carry. That's still an area that's got to get cleaned up.
Well, it's an area that gets cleaned up, but there are some teachable moments in there. And after this game, you'll find out whether or not they've corrected the mistakes. I didn't see anything that was glaringly bad, just guys out of position, not keeping leverage on the ball, and having cutbacks against a very physical team.
What are some of the things that really stood out to you that you like?
Well, Demontre Moore, he was very active. I think this kid, if he can become their third rusher, is going to be a big asset for them. But this kid is very active early.
We saw Hankins get some pressure. Of course, Moore blocked the punt. So a lot of guys getting opportunities and a lot of people being active. We saw Jaquan Williams out there. Spencer Pasinger had 5 tackles in the first half. So kind of a feeling out process. The offensive line, they did fairly well too, especially the backup guys when they came in.
Well, we know they can pass the football and they can pass protect. The key is getting something at the point of attack.
We get set for the start of the second half. You see Brandon Mosley, number 67, did a good job in his first start. In for Chris Snee and James Brewer, both who are out with injuries. Snee doing nicely in his recovery from hip surgery, talking with veteran David Deal. We got set for the start of the second half. The Giants and the Steelers. Again, this is when you look at a roster, and you have a 90-man roster in the preseason. Carl, the guys who are the last 30 guys or so, this is really the most important night because in preseason game 2 and preseason game 3, the starters get more turns before they have that first cut. So they've really got to show something now.
They do, and it can be on special teams, but they've got to do something to show up in film aside from making a penalty or something.
You've got to look at number 59, Aaron Curry, part of the Giants special teams unit. Tom Coughlin always taking his notes during the course of the game. Remember, he's going to use all 4 quarterbacks. You get a look at Daniel Ratman, signed as a free agent this year, Southern Miss, battling for a kicking job against the incumbent Sean Sweezen, or at least trying to put something on tape that will catch somebody's eye. So Ratman will start this third quarter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Darrell Scott back deep. And Michael Cox back deep, and another touchback for the Steelers. So the Giants will start 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line to start this third quarter. There's Curtis Painter in his 4th year out of Purdue, signed as a free agent in camp with Baltimore last year. Did not play in the NFL, a former 6th-round pick of Indianapolis. In his career, started 8 of 9 games. You see his completion percentage in his 2 NFL seasons. 6 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
And this is probably the first year in a few that Carr has legitimate competition.
Giants preseason football on NBC4 New York, fueled by Hess. Darrell Scott, the tailback for Curtis Painter. Painter to throw on 1st down. Jernigan with the catch. Turns it upfield, picks up 13 and the first down for the Giants. Well, Jarrell Jernigan, he's another one of those guys, Carl. He's 3rd-year player, 3rd-round pick. He's got to show something now.
Yeah, he's off scholarship now. He's got to earn his keep because when you get in the 3rd year of a 4-year deal, the patience starts to wear a little bit because guys are nipping at your heels, the new draftees.
Had 3 catches for 22 yards. 1st and 10 Giants at the 33. Painter to throw again, And the pass intended for Adams, incomplete. Adams slipped, he's shaken up. Painter took a shot, and Adams is down and hurt.
Yeah, he twisted. The body went one way and the leg went the other.
You see Chris Adams being attended to by the Director of Medical Services for the Giants, Ronnie Barnes. We'll be back after this. Well, the tough part about playing in the National Football League is we welcome you back to Pittsburgh. Injuries are just a part of the game. And for Chris Adams trying to make the New York Giants, it looks like a pretty severe injury to his left leg, left ankle. Carl, kind of non-contact. It's just one of those where the body is going fast one way and you turn another way and something's going to give.
Well, when the majority of the weight goes one way and the body part that gets left behind definitely takes the torque.
And Adams being helped to the cart by Ronnie Barnes and Steve Kennelly. See Giants head coach Tom Coughlin looking on, and for the 25-year-old Chris Adams, you know, on the outside trying to make this football team, but show something where maybe another team could be interested by what you do out on the field of play in these preseason games. A tough end for him here in this preseason game.
Well, and we don't want to give the prognosis here, but we hope for the best, but it didn't look good on air, you know.
So the second-year man out of Texas, El Paso, came into the league as a free agent with the Bears. We'll take a look at it again. It's Painter.
Here he is here.
He goes one way, slips, and you see that left leg bends in a way that the human body's not meant to bend.
And he's grabbing it right away.
So Chris Adams carted off. The quarterback Eli Manning. He works with all of his receivers, the young guys and the veterans, to try to make them better. And Chris Adams taking to the locker room. I guess the good news, Carl, is they came out with the air cast and some of the other heavy medical equipment. They didn't need that.
Yeah.
So any update we get on Chris Adams, we will let you know. 2nd and 10 for Painter. Darrell Scott on the carry, not much there. Scott played in 4 games last year and then was placed on injured reserve due to a knee injury.
Yeah, and this is, you know, extended time for him too to get back acclimated. He's a 3rd-year guy who hadn't played much, and you could see by that run he ran opposite of his blocking, cut back too soon.
It's used on kickoff return 2 years ago.
Speed guy with size.
Chris DeGeary is the left tackle. Capers the left guard. Cordell the center for the Giants. Painter to throw. Has some time. Painter completes it to Ramses Barden, who changed his number from 13 to 85. And he's got a first down. Barden, the 3rd-round pick of the Giants in 09. Last year had 14 catches for 220 yards. Had a big game in Carolina, but then Carl kind of disappeared a little bit. Played well down in Philadelphia in the following week, but then kind of didn't perform down the stretch.
Yeah, it's always been a crowded roster at the wide receiver position. He tries to stay viable on this team roster by playing special teams, but at the end of the day, he's going to have to contribute as a wide receiver. And you say he changed his number, but if you do the arithmetic, 8 plus 5 is still 13.
There you go. I like that. Martellus Bennett wore 85 last year. Barden was a free agent. Did not get any offers, and when Cruz was trying to work on his contract and Nix coming off his injury, they signed Barden for depth. Painter downfield, and the pass dropped by Larry Donald. Practice squad player last year out of Grambling, former draft pick of the Steelers.
Painter is showing a great deal of poise there. He's going through his progressions. He's letting the play develop, and he's putting the ball where the receivers can get them.
Catchable football for Donald. Not able to reel it in. So the Giants will face a 3rd and 8. Cordell the center. Painter the quarterback in the shotgun. Painter holding the football, and he's going to get sacked.
Under duress on that one.
Nothing was open quickly, and Tom Coughlin can only shake his head as Painter takes the sack.
I believe on that one, Painter started watching the rush and not looking for his receivers. He had some crossers. They knew what the play was going to be. I think he started reading that pass rush.
Steve Weatherford to punt. David Gilreath back deep for the Steelers. Weatherford with a good high punt. Gilreath catches it inside the 5. That's a no-no, and there's a flag. He's going to get tackled by Zach Diassi and Adewale Ajomo and Matt Broha. 58-yard punt, 3-yard return, and the Steelers get called for a penalty.
Yeah, Michael Cox was down there who drew that penalty.
So Ron Winter with the call.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 15 of the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Justin Brown called for the penalty. You see the Giants' pursuit of the football. There's the penalty, the block in the back, and then Gilreath gets smacked by Diassi. Offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride talking with his quarterbacks, Curtis Painter, Ryan Nassib, the rookie out of Syracuse, and Eli Manning. Painter backed up Peyton. Can he win the job to back up Eli? Here at Giants preseason football on NBC 4 New York, fueled by Hess. Giants is front by a touchdown here in the third. In a quarterback for the Steelers, Landry Jones, the rookie out of Oklahoma. Giant, go ahead, Carl.
No, a young man that the Steelers really want to see him become productive this preseason to be a viable backup.
It's interesting. The Giants picked up Eli Manning in 2004. Roethlisberger was in that same draft class, taken 11th overall. Both teams used 4th-round picks to take a quarterback with their starters in their 10th year. And Jones runs into his own man, and it's a safety. He recovered it, so it wasn't a touchdown. He was trying to give it to Baron Batch. They ran into each other, and Tyler Sash and the Giants converge on the football, and Landry Jones. So his first ever NFL snap results in a safety.
And those are the operational things that the coaches really, and he just messed that one up. No distance between that handoff.
So the Giants get 2 as Landry Jones tackled in the end zone for a safety, and their lead 15-6. Tonight's game on NBC 4 New York is fueled by Hess. Gorgeous night in Pittsburgh. You know, we talk about the 3 rivers. Well, then you need bridges. My last count, there's 167 bridges in the Pittsburgh area connecting all the land over those rivers. There's Landry Jones. His first snap goes for a safety. I've been told that Terry Bradshaw has tackled for a safety in his first 3 games as a Steeler. Jarrell Jernigan takes the boot, and he'll start at his own 22. Jernigan slithers across midfield. After Brian Moorman punted the football. Moorman, the longtime punter with the Bills. So the Giants get great field position and start in Steelers territory.
Good patience there as a punt returner by Jernigan. You can see him there. He finds an opening and accelerates there. Keeps his balance. He may go a little further. That's a good look, though. Good eyes.
And he stays in the ball game as a wide receiver. 27-yard return. And the Giants not able to run the football with Darrell Scott. He's going to lose 2.
Tackled by Keon Wilson.
Keon Wilson made the tackle, a 3rd-year player out of South Florida.
Offensive line had to give him a chance there. That was a tackle for a loss, 3-4 yards there.
Officially 3, 2nd and 13 for the Giants. Painter in his 2nd series. Manning and Carr split the first half. Draw to Scott. Scott plows ahead to the Steelers' 48-yard line. So that'll set up a 3rd and 9 for the Giants. Giants are down a running back, Ryan Terrain. Suffered a head injury in practice. Today is Ryan's 27th birthday, so if you're watching, happy birthday to Ryan Terrain. Trying to make the Giants. Signed last year as a free agent. Matt McCants in at the right guard for the Giants. Painter under pressure, and he sails it over the head of Louis Murphy Jr. Incomplete.
And then again, there was a coverage sack there. It was a two-man route, and no one could get open.
Brian Roll, the former Eagle, got pressure on Painter, so Weatherford will come in to punt again. You know, one of the things that set up the safety was the rookie, or the second-year man, Gilreath, made the mistake of catching that last punt inside the 5.
Yeah, teachable moment.
Weatherford to punt again. Protection is good. Middle of the field with that reverse spin. This time he lets it bound over his head, and it kicks into the end zone for a touchback. The Steelers go back on offense with the Giants in front, 15-6. Tonight's game on NBC4 New York is brought to you by MetLife. Check out MetLifeCentral.com for great prizes. By Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Giants. By Ticketmaster, the NFL Ticket Exchange, powered by Ticketmaster, the official resale marketplace of the Giants. Gorgeous look at downtown Pittsburgh on this Saturday night. First weekend of preseason action. Giants lead the Steelers 15-6. Rick Cruz, a 57-yard touchdown catch from Eli Manning. Landry Jones' first snap of his pro career resulted in a safety. This time he'll throw high, and a nice catch made on the far sideline by Justin Brown. Brown, a rookie out of Oklahoma. So Landry Jones threw to Brown last year. He throws to him now. Let me tell you something, Carl. It's a much better catch than it was a throw.
You got that right.
And we were talking to some people on the field before the game. They said Landry Jones has really struggled so far in camp.
Yeah, he hasn't impressed the coaches to the level of their expectation.
Taken in the 4th round. 2nd and 2, audibleizing at the line. Baron Batch runs into his own man, fights for the first down yardage, and stopped a half yard short as the Giants rallied nicely to the ball. Marvin Austin at the bottom of that pile. Now Jones is going to go no huddle. Marvin Austin and Mike Patterson in at the defensive tackles for the Giants. 3rd and inches, and Batch tries to dive, and he lost a yard.
Aaron Curry there, coming off the edge.
Aaron Curry, the 4th overall pick in 2009. Spent last year with Oakland, 3 years with Seattle. Carly makes a play.
Yep, right there. Now, the thing with Curry, you know, you look at him, you say, boy, he doesn't fit the prototypical Giant, today's Giant linebacker. He's big, but the thing is, you've got to play fast when you're big, and the small guys have got to play big when they're fast.
Brian Moorman in to punt. Bearcats call for a short punt. Takes a Steeler roll down to the 27-yard line. Charles James was the return man. 44-yard punt. Now our New York Lottery sideline report once again. Bubba Beck.
Hey, Bob, wide receiver Chris Adams went into the locker room. All they're saying is x-rays on his lower leg. The second-year man from UTEP is intriguing because of his size and length, and he's had a pretty good camp thus far, Carl. He's been pretty good.
Well, you hope the best for him, and it didn't look good, but hopefully it won't be too serious and he'll get a chance to continue to compete for a job.
But with him out of the game, it opens up an opportunity for somebody else. Painter to throw, pass knocked away, incomplete. Intended
for Hardy.
Kevin Hardy.
Now you see Curtis Painter in there when he first got in the game. He seemed to be in command of the offense. He looks got knocked around a little bit that last series. It looks like he's trying to get the ball out of his hands a little faster there and not letting plays develop. He's got to quiet the game down on every series.
Painter 2 for 6 for 23 yards. Darrell Scott out to the 30. That's a gain of 3 on the play. So they'll set up 3rd and 7 for the Giants. Here in the third quarter in Pittsburgh, preseason game number 1 for the Giants and the Steelers. Can Painter unseat David Carr as Eli Manning's backup? Ryan Nassib, drafted in the 4th round. We'll see him later in this game. Giants have not committed a penalty tonight, Carl.
That's the organizational structure that Coach Coughlin talked about.
Painter dumps it off for Hardy, behind him and incomplete. Would not have had the first down anyway. Hardy did not play football last year. Originally signed as a free agent last year by New Orleans. Did not make the team out of the Citadel. So a quick series for the Giants on offense. And Steve Weatherford back out to punt. David Gilreath back deep for Pittsburgh. Protection is clean. Weatherford. Gilreath bobbled it, recovered by the Giants. Diassi got the hit, and then the Giants recovered it. Tyler Sash caught it off the fly.
Tyler Sash is a proactive safety here because he knows chances of playing time will come if there's an injury, but he's got to continue to make himself a viable part of this roster, and he's been a good special teams performer here.
Gilreath peeked at Diassi, who was right there, and that was the big mistake.
Sash is down on the field. And I'll tell you, another kid who's shown up here in special teams has been Cox, running down as a gunner.
The Giants have a block punt and now recover a fumble off a punt. A muff punt as Scott gets nothing to the sideline and Howard Cross.
Guys, you know, Sash has been a consistent player for the Giants for this time here. He's done a lot on special teams, and when they need him, he comes in and makes plays. Not the greatest athlete from time to time, but he's consistent. That's what you need. You need a guy who can be on the field and available when you need him.
And you know what? You can read the writing on the wall, guys, because the Giants signed Ryan Mundy, a safety, and they drafted a talented kid, Cooper Taylor.
Yep, so he said, I'm going to make my presence known on special teams.
2nd and 9. Childers, the tight end in motion. Scott gets the edge, can't finish it.
And he
tackles at the 25.
Oh, he's up.
Tackle by number 69, Brian Arnfelt.
Brian Arnfelt on the tackle for the Steelers. Looked like Scott had some room there.
Has some speed. He's got a full head of blockers out there. He's just got to get running. He can't. I mean, the tackler there didn't even wrap him up.
So that'll be 3rd and 7 for the Giants. The Giants blocked the Steelers' first punt of the night. They took over at the 5. They had to settle for 3.
Scott doesn't have a lot of experience running as a pro.
Draw play to Scott up the middle, and it looked like there was some room there, but he gets tackled 2 yards short of the first down.
He's going to look at this tape, and I'm sure the offensive coach is going to say, you can't get shoestring tackled. You're a running back. Pick your feet up. Now, he's a fast repetition guy with his feet, but he's got to get through those shoestring tackles. And that's a lack of experience at this level. Bobby played a little bit as a rookie and then got hurt last year, so he's back getting his real opportunity here.
He had 5 carries as a rookie, and of course injured last year. Kick for Brown is no good. He missed it left. So Josh Brown hit his first 2, but that one goes wide left, so the Giants waste an opportunity to add to their lead. Josh Brown in his first game as kicker for the Giants misses a 38-yarder. He replaces Lawrence Tynes, who signed with Tampa. Tynes was a free agent. The Giants actually offered Tynes a contract extension. He wanted to test free agency, There were no callers. The Giants couldn't wait. And Josh Brown, the veteran's in, but he misses the 38-yarder.
And you've got to have a very high percentage of completions from that range.
Jones hands off to Batch. Batch falls ahead to the 29-yard line.
Fall ahead plays. That's what Coughlin didn't want, and Ron Hosley was there at the point of attack. Couldn't get him down.
Hankins and Patterson, the defensive tackles for Tom Coughlin, out on the field right now. Dan Connor is in at the middle linebacker. Demontre Moore remains at one of the defensive ends with Adrian Tracy. Hankins, a rookie out of Ohio State. There's Moore, who's had a good night. 2nd and 8. Jones to throw. He feels pressure from Moore. And he fires it to the left sideline and completes it. Nearly knocked away by Tremaine McBride, but Justin Brown makes the catch and a first down.
Again, Demontre Moore disrupting the process of a quarterback, and you have your starters in there. That may be an interception, but Moore is a very disruptive force tonight.
Tremaine McBride could not knock the pass away. Moore getting consistent pressure. First and 10. Jones completes it. Gain of 7. It's Brown again. So Oklahoma to Oklahoma. Terrence Frederick on the tackle.
Frederick for the stop for the Giants.
Had a clear rush there by Adrian Tracy off the edge. He got cut. That was one of the things that really frustrated JPP last year. When teams got onto his speed, they start to chop at his legs, and defensive linemen have got to learn a counter move when that happens.
Batch on the handoff for the 2nd and 2, runs into a wall. And short of the first down.
You say Batch on the handoff. That's a guy who's been around here in Pittsburgh for a long time, Charlie Batch, but this time it's a running back.
Baron Batch in his 3rd year out of Texas Tech. Looked like he had a crease, and then Ryan Mundy grabbed him around the waist, and then Marvin Austin and the rest of the Giants cleaned it up. David Caldwell jumped in on the end of that pile. 3rd and 2 for Jones and the Steelers. Giants show blitz, do not come. Jones, pass incomplete. Frederick on the coverage. Pass intended to Derek Moy.
That's very good coverage there by Frederick. Good body position and putting himself between the ball and the receiver, pinning him to the sideline.
So the Steelers will have to punt the football away as they send out Brian Moorman, his 13th year out of Pittsburgh State. Charles James back deep for the Giants, a rookie out of Charleston. Moorman takes the high snap, sends it high and straight into the air. James will call for a fair catch. Secure the football, says Tom Coughlin, and he does. Now it's time for the Dunkin' Donuts player interview as we check in with Bruce Beck.
Well, Victor Cruz had a big touchdown tonight. In the first half, he exploded on a 57-yarder. And Victor, it almost looked like he grabbed the back of your ankle.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, once I broke away, he kind of dove at my ankle, but I managed to high step and get into the end zone.
What does it mean for you to be back and not thinking about contracts and just playing football?
It feels good, man, to go out there and have nothing on your conscience, go out there and play football and play this game you love with Eli and all the guys, man. It's really fun out there for me right now.
A preseason salsa dance?
a little bit. I haven't done it all off season. I've been dying to get back out here on the football field with my guys. I get in the end zone after such a dramatic touchdown. I had to do something.
Can Ruben Randall be a component to this offense that can help you and help Eli in a big way?
Absolutely. I think this year he's kind of coming to his own. He's understanding this offense a lot more. and he's just taking a step forward in the right direction. I think he's going to be a valuable asset to our offense, and you'll see that as the season progresses.
Chris Adams, broken leg tonight. It's sad when you see a kid working so hard and have to go down with an injury.
It's unfortunate, man. He works so hard. You see him in the meeting room. You see him out there on the field, really putting his best foot forward. He's a smart kid. He really understood this offense at such a rapid pace that it's unfortunate to see him go down, but we wish him a speedy recovery, and hopefully we'll see him out here on the football field again.
So what are your goals for this year? Coming off the year where you were the first Giant ever to go for over 1,000 yards, catch over 80 balls, and score 10 touchdowns or more.
Just more of the same. Just trying to go out there and be the same player, the same type of person I've been these last 2 years, and continue to be consistent. That's my main thing. Eliminate as many drops as possible and continue to be the same player I was these last 2 years. And hopefully there'll be some positive results.
We'll see you with the game against the Jets in a couple weeks. Wasn't that a breakout game for Victor Cruz a couple years ago, coming out of UMass, being an undrafted kid?
Yeah, the Jets always hold a special place in my heart, man. But it's going to be a fun game, and we always want to come out victorious. So we'll see how it goes.
Thanks, Victor. Good effort tonight.
No problem. Thank you.
Victor Cruz, number 80.
All right, Bruce. Terrell Scott on a 3rd and 10 picks up 20. Victor Cruz in that game against the Jets, it was the first ever game at MetLife Stadium, and he had that big game against the Jets. He had 3 touchdown catches, but Giants fans
First down, Giants.
remember the Christmas Eve game 2 years ago in 2011 and his 99-yard catch and run that changed the whole complexion of that game, catapulted the Giants to the postseason, and obviously on to the Super Bowl.
And that was literally making something out of very little on that particular play. He's a good kid, number one, and you know, all through this impasse, and you talked about Ruben Randall. Ruben was able to learn the offense a lot more, but all through the impasse, you never heard anything negative from Victor Cruz other than just saying, look, I want to be a Giant, we'll figure it out. And they did, and that's the type of guy that he is and the type of guy that the organization want to keep around.
2nd and 14. Scott lost 4 on the play. Painter for Scott. Gets a block, and Scott out to the 45-yard line.
Scott for the catch.
You know,
Picks up 9.
If I can critique a running back, and I've had a little experience tackling guys, in my scouting report, I'd say Darrell Scott goes down with arm tackles and ankle tackles. He's got to look forward to getting those feet up and down in the ground. You have to be a powerful runner and be able to run through those arm tackles. Every time he goes down, it's just something clipping him around the ankles.
All right, Chris Taguiri, second-year man out of Wake Forest, being checked out by Dr. Rodeo. Ronnie Barnes, Director of Medical Services, with his back to you, and Steve Kennelly, one of the assistant trainers, taking a look at the Giants' offensive lineman. He was out on the screenplay. And
gets
wow,
rolled up a little
by
bit.
his own man.
Yep.
His own man rolls up on that right leg.
And this is when you hear the coaches in practice say, stay up, stay up. You know, guys' bodies start flailing around. Friendly fire, he gets injured.
So Chris Adams, broken left leg, and now Taguiri is down and hurt. He was a 5th-round pick for the Vikings in 2010, Tennessee's practice squad last year, able to walk off under his own power as we check in with Howard Cross.
Guys, you know, even for young players that are watching the game, they should understand that you keep moving your feet and pumping your feet. Never brace yourself when you're playing. That's usually what happens when a guy rolls up on the back of your legs. You're kind of bracing yourself, getting ready to make a block, but you got to keep moving constantly to protect yourself.
And hopefully for Chris Taguiri, he has dodged a bullet. Able to walk off under his own power. That's a good thing. Inside a minute to go here in the 3rd. 3rd and 5 for the Giants. Painter will screen for Larry Donald. He gets tripped up short of the first down. Nice play by the 1st-round draft pick Jarvis Jones to make the tackle on Donald.
Yeah, it really was, and it's a one-on-one tackle. Big man, little man wins. Well-designed play there, well-timed. You know, you get here's what happens though. You get a missed block there on the edge by Selfish Capers.
So Weatherford to punt. Reggie Dunn back deep. Fair catch inside the 10.
Fair catch.
44-yard punt, no return, with 4 seconds to go here in the third quarter at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Giants have recorded a blocked punt. DeMontre Moore did that. Giants had it first and goal at the 5 after the blocked punt was recovered by Lewis Murphy Jr., but they had to settle for 3. Pittsburgh tied it at 3, then Manning to Cruz, 57-yarder. And the Giants added a safety and another field goal. Jones tackled in the end zone for a safety on his first snap. There's a good look at Aaron Curry. Can he make a mark and make a dent in the Giant linebacking core? Should be the final play of the third. Jones remains in at quarterback with Batch, the tailback. Batch on the handoff, nowhere to go. Matt Broha made the tackle. After 3 in preseason game number 1, Giants in front of the Steelers, 15-6.
I feel again.
And we start the fourth quarter in Pittsburgh. 2nd and 9 for the Steelers from their own 10-yard line. Landry Jones pass incomplete.
Jones pass intended for Overbay, incomplete.
Jake Musow on the coverage. Carr, you like what you saw out of Aaron Curry on the final play of the third quarter. As we take a look at the line score, the Giants got a safety in the third.
Yeah, he's had a great play at the point of attack and was really disruptive there. Pushed his guy back, changed the direction of the runner, disengaged, and got in on the play.
Moore and Broha, the defensive ends. Jones completes for a first down to Moy in front of Junior Murtaugh. Well, let's take a look at that play that you were talking about at the end of the third quarter made by Aaron Curry.
Yeah, very strong at the point of attack. Watch him push his guy back. You'll see him there. Gets up under his pads, disengages, boom, makes a tackle. That's what you want at the point of attack, pushing your guy backwards, and that's what Aaron Curry's going to have to do to help this run defense.
Steelers with a 1st and 10 from their own 23. New York Giants preseason football on NBC4 New York, fueled by Hess. Giants on a blitz. Jones completes it to Moy again, and he picks up 9.
Eric Moye with a catch. Tackle by
Murtaugh with the tackle. But a gain of 9 on the play. 2nd and 1 for the Steelers. Jones under pressure. And they just throw it away. Adewale Ijomo got the late pressure on Landry Jones after he was flushed out of the pocket.
Yeah, it's good. Good downfield coverage there. No one lost their guy during the scramble.
Jomo had a big preseason last year. Played in 1 game for the Giants during the regular season.
Yeah, he was a guy that was very active in the preseason. And here's a kid now, he's got to prove himself. He's got company now, not as the second-year guy who's going to be replacing Osi Umenyiora. You know, DeMontre Moore has just come in and says, hey, I'm going to compete for that third defensive end spot.
3rd and 1 for Jones and the Steelers. They pick up the blitz. Jones sails it incomplete. Intended for Justin Brown.
Jones pass intended for Justin
So after first down, the Steelers have to punt the football away. Charles James back deep for the Giants. Brian Moorman in to punt for Pittsburgh. James watches it bounce out of bounds. little scrum at the back end of the play. Here in the fourth, Giants in front, 15-6. That's Super Bowl 42. Eli Manning en route to the MVP. The game-winning touchdown pass to Plaxico Burress. Plaxico spent 4 years with the Giants. 2007, he had 12 touchdown catches from Eli Manning, and before the game, Eli and Plaxico caught up. Plaxico injured his shoulder the other day. He's going to have surgery on Monday. He is done for the year. Eli with 2 Super Bowl MVPs. And look at that guy, Phil Simms, on the sideline.
Do you call that a video bomb? Is that what they call it now? Another guy walks in. Hey, I know Phil didn't do it on purpose, but it's good to see him in there too.
3 Super Bowl MVPs between Manning and Simms. Ryan Nassib in at quarterback for the Giants, and the Giants commit their first
Offense
penalty of the night.
5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
That's the other 79.
Stephen Gooden called for the penalty. Ryan Nassib taken in the 4th round. Started 38 games at Syracuse. Completed 62% of his passes last year for 3,700 yards with 26 touchdowns. Play fake to Michael Cox, and Nassib is going to get sacked. Vince Williams, a rookie out of Florida State, with the sack.
Good ball fake by Nassib there. The offensive line just didn't hold up. Boy, they just let him run through there.
Giants have Bryant Browning, number 75, in at left tackle for the injured DeGear.
Eric Herman was the one who's allowed that leak to spring.
So it's 2nd and 18. Michael Cox on the handoff, and he gets a yard or 2. That's it. Alan Baxter on the tackle. Michael Cox, interesting prospect, rookie out of UMass from Avon, Connecticut. Ran for 765 yards last year at UMass. Plays special teams as well. He's 6 foot, 220 pounds. He's shown some flashes in camp.
Yeah, he has. And you know, the thing about this time of the game for Ryan Nassib, I know he wants to play with a better group of guys, the linemen and receivers, but this is basically an extended college part of the game for him, because most of these guys on the field, both sides, are 1st and 2nd year players.
3rd and 17 for the rookie out of Syracuse. Now get a whistle and a delay of game penalty against the Giants. So no penalties for the Giants, and Nassib comes in and a couple right away. He is a rookie in his first game.
You know, the expectation, though, of the quarterback position is get the team in and out of the huddle.
Barton, Hardy, and Julian Talley, the wide receivers, on this 3rd and 22. The snap goes over the head of Nassib, and it's lost in the end zone. Did the Steelers recover for a touchdown? Yes, they did. So Ryan Nassib, couple penalties, snap goes over his head, and then not able to recover it in the end zone. Adrian Robinson recovered it for the touchdown.
And Nassib didn't give a full-hearted effort on trying to receive that ball. That's his. You'll see him look at it. He's got to get on that now. Dive. Get in there. Just says, okay, the guy low man wins there. You got to get lower than him and dive on that football. It's yours.
So Ratman's in for the extra point. So a tough first series for Landry Jones of the Steelers, and now Ryan Nassib for the Giants.
Well, teachable moments. It's the first preseason game, and for him, part of the process of playing quarterback in the NFL.
Remember, all scoring plays are reviewed, so Ron Winter is waiting for the all clear for the Steelers to kick the extra point. It looked like maybe at the end one of the Giants
had the ball, yeah.
The ball was bouncing around, and it was loose. I'm going to take, so Ron Winter is being called over and asked to take a look at it. The ball was loose on the ground. One of the Steelers, Robinson, came away with it.
Play will be reviewed.
did they determine that he had control, or was it taken away by one of the Giants, which then would mean a safety? We're going to look at it again. Ball's bouncing around. Gooden had his hands on it. Robinson has his hands on it, and then Browning wrestles it away at the end. Touchdown or not? Referee Ron Winter reviewing the Pittsburgh touchdown on the snap over Ryan Nassib's head. And Carl, we're going to take another look at it. Did Ryan Browning take the ball away from Adrian Robinson of the Steelers?
Yeah, who has it at the very end of the play, and did he get it out too late?
Gooden couldn't recover it. There was Robinson with it. I think Robinson has it
there.
Well, Browning took it away at the end. But did that official right there determine that Adrian, he's determined because he called touchdown.
But did he have it long enough? Possession.
Right there, it's in his chest, and then he tries to get up to signal touchdown, and Browning takes it out. I think it's going to stand as a touchdown. Here's Ron Winter with the call.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a touchdown.
So Adrian Robinson, a second-year player out of Temple, recovers the fumble in the end zone for the Steelers' first touchdown of 2013. And now Ratman is on for the extra point. So a couple mistakes by the Giants. 2 turnovers. Andre Brown had a fumble earlier in the game, and now that fumbled snap results in a Steelers touchdown.
And Nassib has got to get that out of bounds, swat it, get down there, get that football.
Ratman's extra point is wrapped through. Now the Steelers are within 2 with 12:04 to go here in the fourth quarter. Giants 15, Pittsburgh 13. Sign up to the 3rd annual Giants Blood Drive at MetLife Stadium on August 25th. Space is limited. Call 1-800-RED-CROSS or go to redcrossblood.org for more details. Really good event that they run every year at MetLife Stadium. Special teams coordinator Tom Quinn getting his kickoff return unit set. Well, you know, Carl, this past week, a lot of buzz on the internet and with fans as Eli and Peyton decide to do a commercial, but it had a whole different flavor to it.
Oh, yes, it did. And flavor is the operative word.
Football on your phone. Eli had a good time with it, and tell you what, I know my kids, they saw it over at the Quest Diagnostics Training Center, and they can't get the theme out of their brain.
No one can. Once you hear it, you can't get it out of your head.
Ratman to kick it off. Hardy in the back of the end zone. That's a touchback. Well, Eli and Peyton, football on your phone.
Take it with you wherever you go. Show your friends and watch them all go home.
Football on your phone.
Yeah.
Football on your phone.
It's football on your phone, so now's your chance
to have football on your phone and football in your pants.
Look at this guy using his phone as a phone.
Your phone ain't for calling, your phone's
for football.
Eli had a lot of fun. Archie makes a cameo in it as well.
Like Eli's perm. He had a bad perm in that one.
Nassib on a 1st and 10. Michael Cox on the toss. Picks up 2 or 3 on the play. And Eli's teammates, we were watching it, and Dave Maltese, who's the director of video for the Giants. Look at Archie sitting in the throne. JPP came in and he needed to take a look at it. And Archie with the cameo, and Eli said it was a lot of fun. Shot at New Orleans. Football on your phone. 2nd down, handoff. Cox has got some room. Flag in the play. Hold closes fast. This will be a hold against the Giants.
Holding. Offense number 47. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Chase Clement, a rookie free agent out of LSU, trying to make this team as a tight end. Browning is the left tackle for the Giants. Michael Jasper, all 375 pounds. And you see number 68. He makes the 325-pound Browning look small. Jasper's in at left guard.
He is one large individual.
2nd and 18. Cox again. Not much room. A yard or two as we check in with Howard Cross.
Guys, you know, he converted from D tackle to offensive guard. He still has a couple problems with his hands, but he's so athletic with his feet from playing D tackle that they're taking some time to make him a project. He could be a big-time player in the future.
He was a 7th-round pick of Buffalo in 2011. Was in camp with Tennessee last year, did not play. The year before, he was on Buffalo's practice squad. Played at Bethel College in Tennessee. 3rd and 13 for Nassau. Rookie's under pressure. He'll get sacked. Al Woods with the sack.
Nassau has not moved the offense as of yet, and I think part and parcel is due to that offensive line being very leaky. He starts to watch the pass rush as it collapses on him and not trying to get the ball out of his hands.
Reggie Dunn back deep as Weatherford will punt. And that's a young quarterback. A lot of times they look at the rush, Carl. Dunn from the 34 with 4.2 speed. Dunn to the sideline, pushed out near midfield. Well, they returned 4 kickoffs for touchdowns in 10 tries, and Dunn ready to motor. Now it's time for the Toyota drive of the game. 6 plays, 80 yards. Manning hooks up with Ruben Randall. Picks up the first down, then the final 57 yards. Mr. Big Play himself, Victor Cruz. 57-yard touchdown. That put the Giants up 10-3. So the salsa from Cruz. Drive the game, brought to you by Toyota. Steelers will start at the Giants' 48-yard line.
Number 39, Lester Alexander with the carry.
Lester Alexander for the carry. John Parker Wilson is now in the game at quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Game 1, 2nd and 9.
John Parker Wilson in his 4th year out of Alabama. Under pressure, and he'll get dropped from behind. Good pursuit to the football by Justin Tratow.
That was good effort by Tratow the entire play.
Well, it's a huge day next Saturday on NBC Sports Network and NBC Sports. The Premier League makes its debut. You'll see Manchester United on NBC at 12:30 Eastern. Third and 12 for the Steelers, and John Parker Wilson, waived by Jacksonville. He's on their practice squad last year. Under pressure, he'll get sacked again. Adewale Ajomo and Frank Oakham closed in.
Oakham's another big individual. He goes about 340 pounds.
Frank Oakham in his 7th year out of Texas, a former 5th-round pick of the Texans, did not play in the NFL last year. Played 2.5 years with Houston, a year and a half with Tampa. Oakham, 350 pounds, a cool 350. Giants certainly have added size. James will run it out from the end zone. Big mistake. He gets submarined at the 15. So the rookie James returned the punt from his own end zone. Did return it 18 yards. Back in Pittsburgh, Eli Manning's night is done, but he had a hand in tonight's Verizon call of the game. Manning under some pressure, middle of the field. He's got Victor Cruz, makes the catch, and Cruz will score. Salsa time #1 in 2013. And the call of the game brought to you by NFL Mobile from Verizon. That's powerful. And Michael Cox takes a powerful hit on a 1st and 10 play. And that play loses a yard and a half. Cruz with the 1 catch for 57 yards and the touchdown. Let's see if Nassib can move the team a little bit. Second and 12. Nassib just gets it away, underthrows his man, but completes it for the 1st down to Julian Talley.
And that was a good job by Nassib in stepping into the throw and staying with it with a guy on him.
Gain of 29 yards. Nassib gets the completion.
That's a positive play. Look, he has a guy draped on him. He steps up into the pocket, delivers the ball on time.
Talley with the nice catch on the sideline. So 1st and 10 for the Giants at the 44. Cox on the handoff. Gets the edge. Cox into Steeler territory. Knocked down at the 45. Gains 11 and a 1st down. Let's check in with Howard Cross.
Guys, at this stage in the game, the defense always has the advantage because they know where they're going. They're just flying around off the ball. The offense, with that last play, got a little confidence. As you can see there in the run game, they're starting to pick up a few more blocks. One play at a time. It's little basic stuff.
See Stephen Gooden at the right tackle spot, number 79. Nassib on a 1st and 10. His pass incomplete.
Yep, good decision there again by Nassib. He's starting to settle down a little bit. Timing was off on it. He didn't want to throw the ball out late. Got rid of it.
That 11-yard run by Cox, the longest run by a Giant tonight. Second and 10 at the Steelers' 45. Cox again slithers through and picks up 3 on the play. It'll set up 3rd and 7 for the Giants with 6.5 to go in preseason game #1. Giants have never trailed in this game. Some bright spots. Demontre Moore. Some of the defensive tackles. Obviously Randall. Cruz made some plays for Eli Manning. Cox on the draw. Cox has a 1st down inside the Steeler 35 to the 30-yard line.
That's good running.
Gain of 12.
Good running by Cox, and he's been a very positive force on special teams too, as the gunner.
And Matt McCants, number 74, got enough of a block on his man right there, Carl, to give Cox some room.
Yep, that's what you need.
McCants on the practice squad last year for the Giants. 1st and 10 at the Steelers' 29. Nassib to throw, and a little miscommunication with wide receiver Julian Talley.
Now you ask yourself, does the young backup quarterback here know where he is on the field and how crucial negative plays impact the drive here? You're in scoring range. Quarterbacks have to kind of change their thought process, and on that one he did. He got rid of the football, didn't put it in harm's way.
Well, his first 2 series he was playing from the shadow of his own goalpost. He got a little breathing room with that 23-yarder. 2nd and 10. Direct snap to Cox, and Cox picks up a yard. They're working on that in practice. They ran that a little with Bradshaw last year. They've struggled with it in practice. Cordell, the center.
There it is. The ball was high to begin with.
High and maybe a little too much pace.
Yeah.
Third down and 9.
Good job by Cox to keep the possession for the Giants. So 3rd and 9 at the Pittsburgh 29. 4:47 remaining. Nassib with time over the middle, incomplete. Looked like he had tallied.
Well, he came back to him. Ball was just off timing, and it was good defense over there too. Didn't get it in the tight spot. He made a good decision with where he wanted to throw it. He just didn't get it executed.
Terrence Hawthorne knocked it away.
There's his reaction, like, oh boy.
So Josh Brown, who missed a 38-yarder, will try a 47-yard field goal here. Pittsburgh has to call a timeout. Don't know if they had too many men on the field.
This is a 30-second timeout.
So the Steelers will call a timeout with 4:38 to go. Steelers Mike Tomlin want to make sure everything's okay. Tom Coughlin would like to see his team push the margin to 5. Well, tomorrow night on Mic'd Up, Bruce Beck is joined by the Yankees' Lyle Overbay, and our own Eric Frost breaks down tonight's performance by the Big Blue. It's Mic'd Up, immediately following News 4 New York with the great Bruce Beck. Does a wonderful job on that show.
He does. Has he ever offered the snacks to his guests when they're sitting there? He has a different snack every show.
That nice big bowl.
Yeah.
47-yarder to Josh Brown. Got plenty of leg, and this time right down the middle for Brown. So he's hit 3 of 4. Now the Giant lead is 5 with 4:32 to go.
Giants 18, Steelers 13.
I wonder who makes the decision on what Bruce puts in the snack bowl.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe, you know, Bruce is on every Sunday night right after Sunday Night Football, and Sunday Night Football returns on August the 25th. Sunday Night Football will be in San Francisco. Colin Kaepernick and the Niners host Adrian Peterson and the Vikings. Sunday Night Football, August the 25th, 8 Eastern only on NBC. That's preseason game number 3, so the starters play deeper into that game. Adrian Peterson coming off a great year. Colin Kaepernick within a whisper of potentially winning the Super Bowl. Had the Niners driving late. Eli Manning knows what that feels like. He's done it a couple times against the New England Patriots, whether it was the throw to Tyree or Steve Smith or Plaxico in Super Bowl 42 or in Super Bowl 46. The huge pass to Mario Manningham down the left sideline that got that drive jump-started for the Giants. Eli has gotten it done in the clutch for the Giants.
He is Mr. Clutch.
Josh Brown on the kickoff. Returnable to DJ Woods. Woods did not get it out to the 20-yard line.
On the return.
Not a wise decision, taking it out inches from the back line there.
All right, Donald on the tackle.
Tackled by Donnell.
So John Parker Wilson, who was a rock star at Alabama, came into the league as a free agent with the Falcons in 2009. A couple of years on the Falcons practice squad. Last year on Jacksonville's practice squad. Now trying to make the Pittsburgh Steelers. Needs a touchdown to win with 4:28 to go. Or at least put his team to the lead. Alexander on the carry.
Tackled by Hill.
Shoestring tackle by Will Hill, who will serve a 4-game suspension to start the season, Carl, for drug usage. He talked about it openly when camp started, about some mistakes that he made. Remember, he was suspended last year for performance-enhancing drugs, and hopefully Will Hill can get his life in order.
Well, you know, he's a kid with a lot of potential. I hope he doesn't mess himself up and deprive himself of a new lease on a football career.
Tratow again with a play, Carl, as he drops Alexander for a loss. Send it down to Bruce Beck. He's with Football on Your Phone star Eli Manning.
Well, with the two-time Super Bowl MVP and Eli, the first possession was not a thing of beauty, but the second one yielded a touchdown. How do you break down your offense?
Well, like you said, first possession had great field position and couldn't get in the end zone, so disappointed about that. But the next possession had two third down conversions, one on a 3rd and long to Ruben Randall, and then hit Victor for the deep one for a touchdown. So that was good to get back in the flow of things, have everything live, work on some things we've been practicing. So it was a good start, I thought.
What do you think in terms of your weapons this year? Do you think that you're equipped to have a big offensive season?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, having Victor back's great. Ruben Randall's had a great camp tonight. Had a great play on catching a short pass, making a couple guys miss, getting a first down. Brandon Myers had a catch, be good. Lewis Murphy did some good things, and we should get Akeem back soon in the action. So I feel like we got some weapons. It's a matter of me getting them the ball and see if we can score some touchdowns.
Now, I just saw you spending some time with Ryan Nassib. Are you going to help these other quarterbacks in terms of their growth becoming NFL quarterbacks?
Yeah, definitely. The quarterback group, there's only 4 of us in the meeting rooms right now. We're all very close. We're trying to help out everybody, make sure they go out there, play well, run our offense efficiently. So, that first NFL game, a lot's going on. And, he made a nice throw in the go route, Ryan did. And so making some good decisions, that's what you like to see. Make good decisions, and it'll get easier from here.
One of the things you talked about in the offseason was completion percentage and getting back over 60% this year, getting back to where you've been the 4 years prior. Is that something you've been focusing on in camp?
Yeah, just trying to, throwing the ball accurately, making fast decisions, getting the ball out, and just going through my progressions and finding completions and not always having to force the ball downfield. So, we're going to work on that and just make sure I'm throwing the ball accurately and moving the ball and getting first downs.
First one is under your belt. You can breathe a little easier, right?
No doubt. It's good to get that first one, that live action. I didn't take a hit tonight. Sometimes you kind of like to get tackled one time to say, all right, it doesn't hurt too bad. And so maybe next week I'll get that accomplished.
Tom doesn't want you to get hit, Eli. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
thanks, my friend.
Push down, maybe,
I'll speak to you.
Thanks, Bruce.
All right, let's go back upstairs to Bob and Carl.
He said he'll take a push down.
Good stuff from Eli Manning. His night was quick. Meanwhile, a nice catch on the sideline, and it was ruled incomplete. And Mike Tomlin is going to challenge it because it looks like the receiver got his foot down.
Yeah, he did get it down.
Pittsburgh has challenged a ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
With 2:10 to go, John Parker Wilson converted to 3rd and 2, and now this nifty pass to J.D. Woods.
Let's see here. There's one. Let's see if that one gets down. It does.
And he controls it throughout the act of the catch. Yep. So that should be a good completion in front of Frederick. One down, two. Drags the right foot. It's interesting, too. Eli was talking about completion percentage, which is great for your quarterback rating and all those other things. But, Carl, you might sacrifice a little bit of your completion percentage if you're not taking sacks. And Eli was only sacked 19 times last year.
Yeah, but you know what? You can increase your percentage if your offensive line is effectively keeping him from being under duress. I think he'd like a happy medium there.
Tom Coughlin would like to see this defense get a stop here, leading by 5 with 2:10 to go. The Steelers are able to wiggle out of a 3rd down and keep the drive going. Eli Manning enjoying the sunflower seeds and the end of preseason game number 1. Giants fans, make sure you tune into My 9 all season long and take a peek into the lives of the Giants off the field Saturdays with Giants Access Blue, and then Giants postgame live immediately following the games all season long on My 9. Hear Eli Manning's postgame reaction on the postgame show each and every week. You hear from Tom Coughlin every week. Talk about what transpired immediately following each Giants game. Adrian Tracy had a good night for the Giants. Got good pressure on the quarterback. Zach Diassi with some good special teams tackles. And Cullen Jenkins got a sack early.
Okay, Cullen Jenkins will bring a different profile to this defensive line. He's a high-energy player.
Here's Ron Winter with the call.
After review, the receiver with possession of the ball got 2 feet down in bounds. Therefore, it is the Kent. The second down on the 46-yard line. Pittsburgh is not charged with the timeout.
So 2:10 to go, and the Steelers with 2 timeouts, down by 5. We'll have the ball at the Giants' 46-yard line. The 2nd and 1 for the Steelers. Frank Oakham, number 70, one of the defensive tackles in the game for the Giants. John Parker Wilson takes the snap, sidearms it underneath, and he's got the first down. His wide receiver, Kasif Moore from Burlington, New Jersey. And that takes us to the 2-minute warning. The Steelers on the drive. Can the Giants stop them here in preseason game number 1?
In 2 weeks.
New York, gotta love it.
One city.
Perfect day for football here in MetLife.
One stadium. It's the Battle of New York.
Preseason game number 3. It'll be the Giants and Jets here on NBC4 New York. That'll be our next telecast. Always fun. MetLife Trophy at stake. Giants and Jets.
The Snoopy Bowl.
That's where the starters get a lot of the work. Handoff to Alexander, and he gets stood up and knocked down. James got a hit on him. I think Kyle Bosworth, 4th-year pro out of UCLA, also got a hit on Alexander. Steelers have 2 timeouts remaining. They trail by 5 with 1:37 to go in the game. John Parker Wilson 4 for 4 for 35 yards on this drive. 2nd and 7 from the Giants' 39. Moore, the motion man. And James, the rookie, gets the sack of John Parker Wilson.
Yeah, and they needed that spark. They were in a bit of a power outage defensively.
So Charles James, who had 12 interceptions in college, gets a sack in his first preseason game.
Yeah, came out of nowhere, right off the edge there. Unaccounted for.
Quarterback John Parker Wilson never saw him. So the Steelers have to use one of their 2 remaining timeouts with 1:17 to go, and they face a 3rd and 14. Can Charles James practice Giants secondary unit? Mosley and Mukamara and Webster and Aaron Ross, Stevie Brown, Ryan Mundy, Antrell Roll. Looking forward to seeing Cooper Taylor, the rookie out of Richmond, when he's back and healthy. But every year there's a couple of rookie free agents that make this team.
Yep, they come in hungry.
3rd and 14. Under pressure again is John Parker Wilson. He'll get sacked again. Adewale Ajomo picks up the sack. Well, Giants fans, as the Steelers will use their last time out, be sure to tune into MSG Network this preseason and all season long for a weekly lineup of Giants programming, including the premiere of Giants 1st and 10 only on MSG. Check out your listings.
That was a twist game there between Austin and Ojomo.
Now, was there a little face mask in there, Carl?
Oh, inadvertent.
But obviously that is not reviewable. Steelers had to call a timeout, their last timeout, now facing a 4th and 20. Giants have 5 sacks in the ballgame. There's Prince, who's really had a good camp so far and played well last season, Carl, but it seems as if his game has matured to a different level. Sam Madison, you see Sam right in front of him, is part of the Super Bowl 42 champions, is here as a coaching intern, and Prince has really gotten a lot from Sam.
Yeah, he feels very comfortable now.
John Parker Wilson's got to heave it on a 4th and 20, and the pass incomplete. There's a flag on the play. There was a hold, or else John Parker Wilson would have been sacked again. I'm sure the Giants will just decline.
Yeah. You know, you got 5 sacks in the game. That's a favorable
Holding.
number.
Offense number 64. Penalties decline. First down.
DeAnthony Batiste called for the penalty. Tom Coughlin declines it. And a good start to preseason 2013.
Yeah.
Win. Young guys played well. Your big stars made some plays. Manning the Cruz. All in all, I think a good area to build off of.
Yeah, minimal injuries.
Tom Coughlin's favorite play, the victory formation. Nassib will take a knee. The Giants will have to run one more play. Eli Manning, 2 of 5 in the ball game, 73 yards. And one more play for the Giants to run here, and they'll play host to the Indianapolis Colts next Sunday night at MetLife Stadium. Carl and I will have the call on the radio. Nationally televised game as Nassib takes another knee. Carl, your overview of what you saw tonight.
Well, I think a lot of good, a few bad things, but they got a lot accomplished.
Giants 18, Steelers 13.
Victor Cruz with the 57-yard touchdown catch. Tom Coughlin beginning his 10th year as head coach of the Giants. A little handshake from Mike Tomlin. I know Coach Coughlin has a lot of respect for Coach Tomlin and vice versa. And the 2 quarterbacks drafted in the first round of 2004. 5 Super Bowl appearances between them. They've each won 2. Wish each other good luck. They will not see each other during the regular season. If they meet again, it'll be in the Super Bowl. The final score from Heinz Field. The Giants defeat the Steelers 18-13. Don't forget, 2 weeks from tonight, the Giants are back on NBC4 New York as they take on the Jets. Next Saturday morning, NBC and the NBC Sports Network become the exclusive home for the Premier League. Coverage begins at 7 a.m. Eastern on the NBC Sports Network. Right now, over on the NBC Sports Network, it's the World Series of Fighting, live from Ontario, California. For Carl Banks, Howard Cross, Bruce Beck, and our entire crew, I'm Bob Papa. So long from Heinz Field. Tonight's telecast has been produced by Tupelo Honey Raycom in conjunction with NBC4 New York and the New York Giants.